Blog Talk Radio.
Thank you and welcome to another night of the GOC experience. I am your host, Ahayah. I'm coming to you live from New York City, as we do every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. Thank you and welcome everyone for joining us and also for supporting the show. We're going to be having a very exciting show today. We're going to be having a guest, Mr. Trent Cameron. He is an actor in the Hollywood world, and he's going to be joining us. Thank the Most High that he found the truth, and we're going to be talking about his journey and his experience, waking up and knowing the world for what it is. I have Brother Jarrell with me. Brother, you there? Let me put you in.
Shalom, brother. I'm here.
Shalom, brother. Thank you. I know you're always behind the scenes, so thank you for supporting the show and supporting me and helping me. I won't be able to do it without you.
Oh yeah, no problem, brother. I'm always here to do my part, so however I can help.
Bless you, brother. Bless you. Well, the Hollywood world is a very interesting world, and it's always interesting in having somebody that came from that world. I'm sorry, let me just make this. He is interesting when someone from the Hollywood world that experienced that world, and which is a very tempting world to stay in and continue trying to reach for the stars, as they call it, and for someone to see and wake up and be spiritually enough to say, there's more than life than just being a star in front of a camera. So it's just a blessing for the brothers who are going to be joining us shortly. Also, perhaps I believe maybe Elder Ricard may be joining us as well. Throughout the evening. I look at Hollywood today and what it has become. That I used to be a big movie buff. I used to like action movies, drama. Even movies that thought-provoking, if you will. And I notice now that there's a different type of stars now, or celebrities, of what they'll call, celebrities or reality show celebrities. And these shows are cheap, the average Joe could become a star overnight without really putting in the work. It's funny. The majority of the stars you may see to come up, or a new star, a new actor, and you say, "Oh, there's a new hot thing." Half the time, these individuals been working at this craft for a long time, and they were at the right place at the right time. So, it's even the profession itself is diminishing to some degree. So it will be interesting to get somebody from that perspective. And tell us from their perspective. So, I think I see the brother in. I think Brother Zariah, I think he's bringing him in. Yes, I see him in. We're going to bring Brother Mr. Trent Cameron. He has been in movies in The Wood, also the DC Sniper, 23 Days of Fear. Also, I believe Focus, too. Also, he's been in television shows like The Parkers and also General Hospital. So we're going to put the brother in right now.
Shalom.
Mr. Cameron. Shalom, Mr. Cameron. How are we doing?
Oh, I'm blessed, brother. How are you?
Pretty good. When I spoke to Elder Ricard in regards that, when in details in regards how you started waking up and you started, seeing what we're doing, and I would love to hear from, I guess, from your perspective, your spiritual journey. Now, you should get some I did some research on you, brother. You was born Trent Joseph Cameron. I believe you was born in I don't want to give away your age, in May 16th, and I'll leave it at that. I believe you was in California, Los Angeles. You was born and raised.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Are you still residing in the California area, or are you elsewhere?
Elsewhere at the moment, but I have residence there as well. But like everyone else, I will soon be vacating the daughter of Babylon.
Well,
undisclosed location.
Thank the Most High for that. Thank the Most High for that. So you know, I know, you know, with actors, I believe actors are born, they're not made. I believe it's a desire, it's something that you're born with, the desire to perform in an artistic level. So when did you first began, in regards to, from a personal perspective, the actor's bug, if you will?
Well, to be quite honest, by living in the Los Angeles area and being born there and coming up, I mean, you have everyone that's trying to get their kids into acting, and everyone's trying to be an actor, singer, writer, producer, director, casting director, you have it, you name it. But I, on the other hand, you know, kind of like you said, this was just kind of a natural gift of mine. I always had the ability to memorize, you know, lines upon lines at a very young age, and I was early on, I just really craved a lot of attention. Okay, so I'm the youngest of my family, so you know how that, you know, the youngest are always spoiled. So I just really craved a lot of attention. We happened to be out in Beverly Hills. I was age 8. My mom was a health fanatic, and we were at Quinn's Market. A Jewish woman, oddly enough, came up to me, said she just loved, I don't know, whatever type of demeanor, you know, emanated from me at that age. Gave me her card, said, hey, I'd like to, you know, send him out on a few auditions, see how he would do, and I ended up booking my the first audition out was a commercial, Blue Cross commercial, and then it just really took off. Did a movie with Sammy Davis Jr., which was his last film, called The Kids Who Love Christmas, and that was really the film that really was my debut, that really kind of launched my career as a child. Went away from it for a while and then came back to it as an adult. But now I had to leave it. I've been out of the acting arena for about 4 years now. Once I came into the truth, it's like a septic tank, man. I mean, you can't serve, you know, two masters. So, and if I were to stay there, I would be compromising. So. Well,
we you know, you're covering a lot of ground. So I wanted to, I guess, slow take it back just a bit. Your spiritual journey. Let's start with that. That your mother was spiritual, your father. You know, how was your bring up in regards to the spirituality, and also how, you know, I would say that the Gathering Christ Church is one of the most out of the beaten path, if you will, of churches. You know, it would not, so how did you stumble into the understanding on, you know, the wisdom understanding of the Gathering Christ Church, of who you are in the Bible? So you take us there in that journey. How that developed?
Okay. Well, first I have to utilize John 6:44, of course, you know, which stipulates no man can come to me except the Father which have sent me draw him. You know, so I can't. It's not of my own accord. Essentially, I was drawn. Because really I go over there in my mind, and sometimes I think, you know, it's amazing that I've come into the truth. So I wanted to start off with that. But to answer your question on a physical level, you know, my mother raised me and my brother and I, and we came up in a traditional Christian household. Okay, and to this day, my mother is still a diehard, you know, non-denomination Christian with her beliefs. So at the very least, I had somewhat of a seed embedded in me, an inkling of the truth, although distorted. So I at least had a conscience and knew that I wanted to do something righteous with my life. So hopefully that answers your question as far as did I have a Christian upbringing? Yes. I was always searching, and I saw coming up in churches, and I went to a few of the mega churches out in California, but I really saw that it was more show. I mean, the entertainment was no different than when I went on a set, a Hollywood set. The whole setup, I'm telling you, it's very similar. I mean, you have literally a lot of these mega churches have literal sets, and they have prop designers that come in and set up the entire aesthetic setting, if you will, that will cater to the human eye. It's amazing.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cameron. I don't know if it is in the area that you're in. There is some little static. You sound fine now, but I think in certain areas, maybe where you're standing, there's some static.
Okay. How do I sound right about now?
You're coming in clear now. Okay.
All right. Where was the last part that you heard clearly? So I know
these big churches that assemble looks similar to these big studios, studios and productions.
Right.
Will you mind mentioning a few that maybe some of these names we do recognize?
Okay. One of the churches that I came up in was was Church of the Harvest, which it's interesting that you mentioned that. Church of the Harvest is the pastor there is Clarence McClendon, and
okay, you're breaking up again. I'm so sorry. This is I don't know if it's maybe the area or
let me try. Let me try taking it off a speakerphone. Maybe that'll work here.
Okay.
Okay, how we sound now?
Perfect. You're coming in perfect.
Okay. So, Clarence McClendon was a pastor over Church of the Harvest, which is a pretty renowned church there in Los Angeles. A lot of actors would go there. Rapper KRS-One attended, Tia and Tamara, from Sister Sister. Now one of them, I think, I want to say it's Tia, is on The Game. It's a show with a football premise or whatnot. But that was one major deal, and something. I found myself. I was a young man. I ended up, having a daughter outside of wedlock when I was a young man at age 21, and me coming up with my father absent in the home. I just kind of really needed someone to turn to, and it was interesting because it was known that I was an actor there at the church and so forth. We got special attention. We could park closer to the front. We can meet with the pastor and different things. Am I still coming in clear?
You were a little rust. It was a little, but now you're coming. It comes and goes kind of situation. So,
comes and goes.
But we're making out. You're fine.
Okay. Well, just feel free to stop me if it gets a little sketchy again. So anyhow, long story short, I really needed someone to talk to in that situation there. I just kind of needed, a man just kind of really to talk with and to give me some guidance on what to do. And it was just a total slap in the face because I ended up being blown off because he had not realized who I was, because in the fashion of which I tried to get over to him, it was not brought to his attention, and he didn't realize that I was one of his, good-paying, known actors, okay, in the congregation. So, and I saw quickly how the rest of the bunch were treated, and I didn't like that. And really from that moment is when I really understood that this was not something I wanted to be a part of, and I knew that it couldn't be correct. And that's when I really started reading the Word for myself, and just delving in. And, of course, a lot of the things, the Deuteronomy 28:68 really stuck out to me. I remember even talking to my mother and even a few pastors about that, regarding that. I just really felt that, the dilapidated, the impoverished, so-called Negro African Americans at that time, I felt this has to be us. So I'll go ahead and end it there. But that is one of the major churches that I attended. Of course, also Fred Price's church and the other major churches, West Angeles, right there on Crenshaw. But all of them, they're snakes. They pilfer the people's monies, and like I say, it's just one big show. It's one big act.
And that's incredible. So let me get this straight. When you started seeing your spirit started coming up, and you started looking around your environment, and you started looking at the church that you was involved with, and you saw the political favoritism that they were playing even towards you because
right.
of your status, you decided, let me go on my own and start reading the Bible because it doesn't feel right. And
correct.
From that, and this is incredible, you just figure out that to some degree, or the thought process came out that you may be the Bible, or which is focus on the chosen people and these people who the world called the Jews or Israelites. Then it may be you. That kind of you figure out, or that thought process came in your mind just solely on you reading the scriptures.
Certainly. Well, I mean, you have to have a level of comprehension, and I had always gotten great grades coming up in school and, even in college. And so I was able to really discern what I read well. My comprehension skills were pretty strong. I guess even being an actor, that's something that you kind of need, because you need to even add to the role beyond what the text allows, to really get into a character. And
I'm sorry to interrupt, but even above that, because it's funny, because your testimony sounds, and I always joke about this with Brother Olam in our church, that every time we have a new member that comes into the church in Harlem, their testimony always almost sounds similar, is that they feel something is wrong, they go into church, they can explain it. It's like, the Matrix, you just don't know what it is, but you don't know it's there. And it's funny it's amazing how, it's not a situation that, because for my personal, testimony, I was very young when I came to the understanding who I am from a nationality aspect. I was exposed to the Israelite groups in New York, and I saw them in Times Square, and I saw a sign there, and it had the tribe of Simeon, and has next to the tribe of Simeon has the Dominicans, and I was like, this is interesting, but it was never this awakening. And I noticed now that the difference between then and now, that I'm noticing that there's many brothers and sisters are just basically waking up on their own without having the understanding or the history of, the black people being the Jews, or even introducing, it's just amazing how just people just, figure out, you read the scriptures, like, wait a minute, this is talking about me. And so that's amazing how it never gets old when I hear that, I guess, and from people from all walks of life waking up to that, and it reminds me of in Ezekiel when the valleys of the dry bones are waking up, and it's just seeing the manifestation of that is very exciting to me.
Right. Well, I mean, you also have to understand that ever since like the age of 8, I would only deal predominantly with Jewish people being in Hollywood because they own Hollywood. So I saw, and I I don't know if you know who Aaron Spelling is, but Randy Spelling was a great childhood friend of mine. We played on the same baseball team. Well, Aaron Spelling was the producer who, goodness, was the executive producer and the creator behind Melrose Place, Beverly Hills 90210, and so forth and so forth. Yeah, so, but anyhow, I saw how these people lived.
I believe he's by his daughter. I believe he has.
Tori Spelling and Tori Spelling is his daughter, and the wife is he passed on some time back. But I just saw these people's lives, and it did not correlate with what I was reading in the scriptures. Their life was just too great. I didn't see where the chastisement was.
Mm-hmm.
So that also helped me come to a conclusion that this cannot be these people. These people are running things. They're over Hollywood. They run the banks. I mean, they own clubs. They own some of the best areas in Los Angeles. They own San Francisco. I mean, so I knew just from that. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any chastisement. I'm not seeing how these are stiff-necked people that are suffering the woes of Deuteronomy. The second half of Deuteronomy 28.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't seeing that.
That is correct, and then me personally, I believe that the reason why they need to magnify the 5, and many scholars will even argue 3.5 years of what they will call the Holocaust, which 6 million so-called Jews got slaughtered and killed. And even that number has always been debated. But
that's incorrect.
But regardless whether it was 6 million, to compare, and I have heard phrases within the Jewish community and just people in general saying that the Holocaust was the most horrific crime to humanity that ever, and to compare and just doing the history on what happened to the so-called African American of it's estimated over 99 million so-called African American or slaves, which we now know are from the tribe of Judah, got killed. There's also stories that many of the slaves didn't even make it to America because of disease, and they just threw them over the ship, and it became so common that shark. We used to follow the ships because for some dinner, and also to compare I believe the 80 million of Native Americans that were literally slaughtered and wiped out, and to have people constantly remind us of the Holocaust as being the most horrific is an insult to me. It's a really insult to anyone that is a descendant of the Negro and Indian descent. It's really an insult to even I don't like to compare tragedy, but if you're going to pick a tragedy or the most horrific tragedy, hands down, I mean, we have to look at the experience, what happened to the slaves or the so-called slaves and the indigenous people here in America.
Right.
So, so you're in Hollywood. You know the big shots. You're meeting with different producers and things of that nature. How was the culture? I mean, what was it as we see it on television? The glamour is there drama that you hear and gossip and rumors about this person and that person? I mean, we also hear of the people. When you have individuals that all of a sudden announce they have another alternative lifestyle, they're gay, and people say, "Who knew? I never knew person. This person was a homosexual." In some cases. You have, people that you pretty know that they are, but then they eventually just admit it. There was always rumors like Ricky Martin. Of course, he came out. That was a shock to me. Even with the rumors, I didn't believe. I thought he was just a good-looking guy, and people just thought he was gay because of that. But it was a shock to me that he was also gay. So what's your experience from the real Hollywood or behind the scenes versus what we see in television?
Well, I could only speak from my personal experience, but goodness, with the homosexual issue, I mean, it's everywhere. It's like breathing oxygen. I mean, to the point to where you become desensitized to being around homosexuals. I mean, literally, my agent was homosexual. My manager, homosexual. My co-stars, homosexual. I mean, women and males alike. But a lot of them actually wouldn't call themselves homosexual. A lot of them would just say that they're bisexual, that they are, experimenting and they're just sexually free. So the main thing in Hollywood is there are no rules. You can, what's much different than most jobs are 9 to 5. You go in and you've had too much to drink, or you come in stoned or high, or you're if you've been doing drugs or whatnot. It's okay as long as it doesn't interfere with your performance. Matter of fact, if it enhances your performance, it's encouraged, that much more. Some drugs that actually will enhance some of these actors' performance, and in the hip hop industry, because a lot of us know each other, because a lot of the rappers are moving into, and singers are moving into, movies, and so we'll see each other many times on auditions and things, and so their drug of choice is what's called syrup, which is kind of like a mix of NyQuil, oddly enough, and any type of hard, liquor, like sometimes it could be Hennessy, and then of course marijuana is a big stimulant, stimulates the mind, and that allows for them to be creative. But it's everywhere.
So let me get this straight. I'm sorry to interrupt again, but they will take, it's called syrup.
Well, scissor.
Scissor. Oh, scissor.
Scissor.
Okay.
Yeah,
scissor,
yeah.
And they'll throw in some night medicine like NyQuil or NyQuil in the drink, and this makes them sleepy. But then alcohol is supposed to kind of get you. So what's the purpose? I'm confused.
To be honest, I don't know. I can't. I have no idea what the purpose is. I never tried it. It wasn't something that I was ever interested in. To be honest, a lot of the individuals I would come across, I just kind of wanted to gain a certain name for myself. I was never wanting to be the absolute superstar. I always kind of admired like a Don Cheadle type. If you don't know who Don Cheadle is, he was a guy who was in Hotel Rwanda. He was also in Ocean's 11.
Yes,
okay.
I big fan of his work. Yes.
Yeah, as am I. Well, some things, Hotel Rwanda, I thought was great, but. So I didn't. A lot of the things I knew, I saw. Was just absolute madness, because you do have to still remember. I still did have, or so I thought, had a sense of morality there, and I thought I was, a religious person. So I figured, hey, I'm just here to make a buck, help my family, and live life. And that was pretty much it. But I always said that I wouldn't engage into the into the lifestyle. And my whole thing with the homosexuals was, or bisexual, individuals was, hey, well, I just said, okay, I'm just going to respect them. That's their thing. It's not for me. But by all means, you can't speak against it. When you speak against it, you will be blacklisted in a New York second.
Do you think it hurted your career, or is there any particular road that you would like to have received that because you didn't go to certain parties, or lay down certain couches, if you know what I mean? It ain't any experience you could recall? that because of your married, it kind of stopped you from getting certain roles?
Yeah, actually, there was right after I did a movie called The Wood, which was probably my biggest role to date. After that movie, it was a Paramount production, and it was distributed by MTV. And there were significant actors in the movie. Taye Diggs, Omar Epps, and Richard T. Jones, Lisa Ray were pretty substantial names. I got an opportunity. I went out for The Matrix 2, and it was either 2 or 3. I can't quite remember. More of kind of like a cameo type role, but it would have helped my career and propel it forward. And there was another movie called Tigerland, which is a movie that Colin Farrell was the movie that debuted Colin Farrell and really catapulted his career forward. But there's a producer who I'm not going to name him by name just because, but there were some advancements that were made. But it's weird, See, Hollywood's weird. It's not like someone comes up and basically, says, "Hey, come with me. Do you want to be gay or do you want to do this?" It's more of a, it's very similar to the whole Masonic thing, the handshakes, insignias, signs. I mean, it's kind of like, if you meet a woman, you're single, and you're attracted to her. Well, a woman will show you through advancements, through her mannerisms, that she's interested. Well, they do the same thing. So that's happened time after time, and I just kind of pretty much always acted green to it, like, hey, I don't know what this is about, or and I wouldn't play on it, So And I think because of that, sure, there were a lot of roles, that passed me by, and people knew that I wasn't really kissy. It's another thing that you had to do, but again, I've been outside of the acting career for 4 years. I've been out of it for 4 years now, and I just thank the Most High for that. It got tough because it's a new Hollywood now. Reality TV has really taken over. So I had to make a decision to go into a different line of business, and I did that 4 years ago. And since then, I've been on the right track. Found GOC, found Elder Ricard speaking online, knew it was the truth, and that's why I never looked back.
Well, it's funny how you mentioned the Matrix. I know there was I just found this out recently that the actual creator of Matrix and the Terminator was a young lady, African American lady, which we all know from the Tribe of Judah. Actually, is the creator of the Terminator, the Matrix, and I guess I forgot, it was some brothers, I forgot their names, that
the Wachowski brothers.
The Wachowski brothers, I believe, they took credit for the Matrix, but really, it was I believe she won a lawsuit. I think it was like $0.2 billion. It was like a landmark lawsuit. Yeah, so that's at least some justice was done. And it's funny when we mentioned the Matrix, because I remember watching the Matrix. I'm a big fan of the first Matrix. The second Matrix I like. The third not so much. But I was like, wow, this movie has a lot of spirituality to it. And my understanding that when the Terminator, and what I read was in the Matrix was supposed to be one movie, or the Matrix supposed to be the part 2 of Terminator, and I believe John Connor supposed to have been Neo to some degree, the Chosen. And it's funny thinking back. It's like, okay, I could see how you could move those two movies together, but the Matrix had a lot of innuendos in regards of Christ, Neo being the chosen one, the promise to save the world. You also have I forgot the character's name that betrayed, Neo and wanted to go back to the Matrix, and which of course we all know represents Judas, who betrayed Christ. I mean, watching that movie was very like wow. So now finding that out, that there was a sister that was inspired by the Most High and spirituality, it makes perfect sense. Two questions: Do you see that a lot? Do you hear that a lot? People, getting their material stolen and other people taking credit, and that goes on a lot. Do people have to be very, very protective of the street?
Yeah.
Okay.
Happens all the time. I've been a victim to it. It happens all the time.
So you yourself been a victim to it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because now I'm in the director's chair, so to speak, and dealing with productions of my own. But now it's about getting out the truth. Okay. But yeah, definitely. I co-created a reality show that was stolen. It was called Closure. We shopped it around, my partner and I. And here's the funny thing: we were pretty knowledgeable about the industry. Went to the Writers Guild Association, which is kind of akin to copywriting your materials for a song. Okay, you go to the Writers Guild, you place your treatment or script there, and that is what protects you. But all in all, when dealing with major networks in Hollywood, and you're wanting to make a living, if your materials are stolen, there really isn't much that you can do. I mean, you can try to go ahead and sue in different things, but you have to go through so much in order for that to happen, and you have to really know what you're talking about and what you're doing. And I was a little younger. I wasn't as keen on laws and different things, bylaws back then. But in hindsight, hindsight is 20/20. But it's fine because the Most High was able to bless in another fashion. But yeah, to answer your question in a nutshell, yes, all the time, every day.
Okay.
The industry is set up not to allow anyone new in. That's how it's set up. So your materials can come in, and a lot of times if you have something great and you're new, they'll pay you off for your materials and allow for someone else to take the credit and pay you off. That's what it is. It's a private club, if you will.
Yeah, and it's really not the creativity of new people coming in. It's just basically the resources, and I think a lot of it is you gotta have the money, and you gotta know the right people, and it's very difficult to come in. So have you heard any has there been any stories that you have heard on someone selling their soul, if you will, in regards of a fresh new face come in and they want to change the world, and they got these morals. I remember seeing that the manifestation with Beyonce. I remember Beyonce had her Christian roots, and I remember when she was young, she was saying there's certain things I will not wear because of my Christian. And I remember she made a statement at one point, and she got some flack for it. And now it's a different Beyonce.
Right.
It's a different Beyonce. So have you seen that manifestation of someone coming in and literally just giving up any form of morality to make it?
Yeah, all the time, actually. Matter of fact, it happens more so than we know. It's just a lot of those individuals. Here's the crazy thing. You have a lot of these individuals that are selling their souls to Satan knowingly and never establish a renowned career, and you never see them. So what's interesting that a lot of people think, okay, let me, I can sell my soul to Satan, and I'm going to have this great, elaborate, illustrious career. I'm going to be extremely wealthy. No, it actually doesn't always work like that. What it is if you decide to do that, you're given open doors, and opportunities are more readily accessed than the average man. You understand how it works?
Yeah.
Okay, you follow? Okay,
yeah.
So to answer your question, yes, it does happen all the time, knowingly and unknowingly, meaning you have some individuals that actually know exactly what they're doing, and then you have others that are, pretty much selling their souls through their actions. As far as what I mean by through their actions, just meaning some just because they are beginning to compromise.
Okay.
And of course, we know that sears your integrity and different things. So before you know it, again, a lot of parties, a lot of Hollywood parties, just because. Look, what I've discovered is all we are just older children. It's no different than a high school, foyer yard or out on the yard in high school, and peer pressure and coercion. It's amazing to me how many times I've seen at these parties people pick up drugs that, maybe, when I was younger, our thing was, hey, okay, we're not going to go with anything stronger than alcohol and marijuana. That was our deal. But then you go out and you see guys start getting into powder and cocaine and different things and ecstasy. And then before you know it, shortly thereafter, they're totally out of their minds, and now they come back and they've been taken advantage of, and now they're bisexual. So I could go on and on about that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and also for the folks, and thank you for the people behind the scene that helping me out here. The lady that actually won the landmark is Sophia Stewart, I believe. That was his name. So thank you for the people behind the scenes that are helping me out here. So you're telling me that people do compromise their morality and go out and sell their soul.
Yeah.
And don't make it all the time. So in other words, they sell their soul for cheap because they're still struggling, try to make it, and they have compromised their morality, and they're still what you would call B actor or unknown, so to speak,
right.
or so that's amazing. Also, there's always been rumors that in regards, and I have seen this and there's seen some videos or some documentaries in regards that when you go to a certain level that the powers elite, the Hollywood elite, that ultimately you have they sacrifice and you have to give up a life or a loved one to kind of that when you're at that level is in regards of you always hear these I know Kanye West, I think his mother died mysteriously, and I think I can't think of some few. I think Magic Jackson had a death in the family. You have and I have seen a documentary in regards to this is actually they giving up their loved ones for the gods, if you will, the powers that be, to kind of either stay afloat or excel in the Hollywood world. Is there any truth to that from your perspective? Is that highly exaggerated, or is it that's based on true understanding within the Hollywood world? If you want to make it to some, within the occult, secret occult society within Hollywood, you also may have to do that as well.
Well, on a personal level, I can't attest to that. I don't know. On a personal level, I've never come into it, encounter any friends of mine or cohorts or anything, or co-stars or anything like that I've actually known to make that type of, strike up that type of deal or whatnot, or move forward with anything like that. But research-wise, it seems to make sense to me. A documentary that I'm working on now that happens to be one of the categories that I'm debating whether placing in there. But to this point, I find I find some truth about it. I find it very interesting that many actors, if you really search into their background, I mean, highly renowned actors, you will find a traumatic death, unusual death that you'll find normally in their immediate family. But then I've also found others where I couldn't find anything. So to answer your question, I think that there's a possibility behind it. So far, in my research, I found it to be probably about 80% accurate. But I can't entirely just say, yes, that is the case.
Okay, and also, you always hear these Hollywood deaths, in these royal. I know a few years ago there was a big arm in arms about Queen Diana, Princess Diana died mysteriously. There was rumors that it was really a hit and things of that nature. But even within the hip hop world, you got Run DMC, the one of the members of the Run DMC, also of course the Biggie Smalls, Tupac. What's been your experience in that world? What you have heard? These things been basically have been some gang related hits, or there's more to that than meets the eyes, if you will.
Again, that's something that I can't really attest to, because I haven't on a one-on-one basis dealt with anything like that. To where I can speak on that from evidence. So regarding these deaths, I don't know if it's coincidental or if it's attributed to some sort of occultic rituals that are taking place. Now, what I think happened, with Tupac, in the situation of Tupac, I find that highly interesting, that when you listen to his music or his past records, and a lot of these artists, they'll all tell you that they sold their souls, to the devil. Just about 95% of them, all of them. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting with him is he spoke about wanting to reclaim it, to get it back. And he, Tupac was very flippant, at the mouth. He really didn't, so he started to reveal some of the things that were going on and exposing some of the individuals, in the industry at that time. And I think that's what got him in trouble. I think that he even said in one of his songs that that they were willing to conduct a deal with him, that if he were quiet and just they would provide him with enough money and a mansion off in, I think it was Brazil, matter of fact, if he would be quiet. And shortly thereafter, he brought out more materials, and, shortly thereafter, he was dead. But, yeah. Yeah,
Tupac, other than just, of course, liking his music, I was a big fan of Tupac. But I believe that he struggled. He had two sides, and I remember that his mother produced or was involved heavily with a documentary that she put together in regards of after his death. I forget the name of the documentary. It was a very good one. And one thing that I noticed, and what I noticed about within the documentary, aside that I never saw about Tupac, or I understood, he was a leader and he had a leadership quality about him. There was remind me of a Malcolm X, remind me of a, and I know his mother was heavily involved with the Black Panther Party, and I believe that some of that rub up on him, and I believe because he was in the industry, in the highest level of industry, I think he was a threat. And I truly believe if Tupac would have still been alive, he would have been a more mature man. I think the whole
Right.
gangster thing would have, he would have been, that would have been behind him, and it would have been interesting to see a brother like that to maybe stumble into a video of the Gathering Christ Church and what he would think of it. I think he would be he's a thought-provoking brother. Just reading some of his writings and just listen to his lyrics. If you really listen to his lyrics, this brother was he was really a deep brother. And I believe because he was caught up into the gangster lifestyle, and I think he wanted more, but he was so caught up into it that he couldn't get out of it. And he was young. When you're young, you so it would have been interesting to see him develop and where he would have gone. And you're right, it would have been, he would have definitely been shined from Hollywood and from that world, because I think if he would have continued in the highest sense of spirituality, if you will, or just, revolution kind of, attitude that he had, and that was part of him that we never saw until, but I was able to see a glimpse of that in this documentary. It was very interesting to see that. And I think you're right. I think one of the biggest fear that, especially within Hollywood, and I have seen, and what is definitely missing and you don't see it, but and it's not an issue that is, I don't believe the resources are there in regards of capital. I mean, you have rappers now making within the billions. I mean, Puff Daddy, you got Jay-Z and 50 Cent. I don't think it's an issue of the money now. I think it's the issue is that the wrong people are being successful, and they're not thinking about because I'm a big believer that yes, I think sometimes I know about the Illuminatis, and I know about the industry and how you make it, but I think we put too much influence. And another Ricard made a funny example, which I always stuck with me when the Wizard of Oz, when the wizard, everybody thought it was this big guy and this powerful person, but when you turn the veil, it's this little guy messing around with different machines and different buttons, trying to manipulate people's minds. So too, I think a lot of that I think is that we put too much emphasis on, we do our own thing, they're going to shut it down and they're going to come after us. And I think it's that slave mentality. I don't know if that still we have to shake up among us. And I'm seeing that now, especially within, the Gathering Christ Church and just people coming together and just being proud and say that, I'm a Hebrew and don't be, don't feel weird to say it or, and people, but that fear is still there. But I think is the perception of power sometimes is more powerful than the actual power. So what's your opinions of that in regards of, in your experience?
Well, I like to use Romans 8:31 in regards to that. If God be for us, who can be against us? Of course, God being the Most High, or Ahayah, Ahayah. But, when these things, I just like to go back to the scriptures because, of course, we have moments where we tend to shy away. And going kind of back to the whole Tupac thing, and it's unfortunate that the young brother died so early on because, I'm 32 years old, and heck, when I was 25 years old, I don't even want to go over what I was doing back then.
Right. Exactly.
But another thing that I find interesting with the brothers that have come and found the truth is that they were always struggling. So, there were two sides to me, always. There was that side that always felt conviction, always know, hey, you're not doing right. Then there was that other side where, like, well, I just kind of got to get down, got to play the white man's game, And what I mean by that, like, hey, it is a game, predominantly, they are the Esau is ruling, has dominion on the earth right now. So there are certain ways that you have to play the game of life, and if you want to get ahead financially. So we find ourselves maybe compromising, with some things, and I found myself compromising even in roles. I mean, there were certain roles that I've done that I'm not happy about, today. But then on the flip side, I see that, okay, well, people will come up to me and I can kind of be more of an example now. And unfortunately, it takes, especially our people, okay, and when I mean our people, I mean, quote unquote minorities as a whole. It's like if you're dealing with anything in entertainment, you're more glorified in that versus having a master's degree or a PhD in, something more noteworthy like even a teacher, But now I also know the education system is wicked and so forth. But there are still ways in which you can use your art and your gift and your craft to help stimulate the body of Yeshaya. But I think as a whole we need to become more individualized from like secularly speaking, individualized where you say, okay, look, I'm my own person. I don't have to do this in order for this individual to like me or in order to gain this position. But then synonymous with that, a part of, on a spiritual level, we need to be one in our thinking and not be fearful and speak boldly about what we know is on our heart, and not be, like I said, at first I was going to come on here and be anonymous because I said, look, I don't, I still rub elbows with some people in the industry and, I don't, but hey, look, when it's all said and done, I want to be before the Father, and he said, great job, my servant. So I'm paraphrasing there. I know it's totally demolished it, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I think I've been when I was involved with these Israelite groups in New York years ago. There was always I always had that fear. Now, I won't say, not that fear. I won't say fear so much. Fear. I was always, to some degree, embarrassed, believe it or not, because although I justify it by, well, we had the truth, which they didn't, they had some truth, but not a lot of it. I believe now in 2011, and that's why I really love this church, and I will live and die for this church, for the integrity of this church, because I never believed that it was the message, the evidence, the scriptural evidence, the historical secular history evidence to prove that in fact the Negroes and the indigenous people of America are in fact the lost children and tribes of Israel. It was always the messengers. It was always, so people automatically shut down when I have a discussion, and they don't do it anymore. But I used to see clearly a shutdown of their ears, because they'll immediately, identify me with, oh, you must be one of those Israelites. But right now, those guys are pretty much fading away, to my experience. And I think now is the time, and when the scripture comes to mind, it says now that when the true worshipers will come and worship me in truth and in spirit. And I'm so proud of this church, where we have gone, and we have our problems, we have our issues within the church, but we're a family and we're growing. And one of the things that is very powerful with this church, and once we are able to execute this self-sufficient societies and thought process of doing for ourselves, because there is no other group that has more creativity, just imagination to make something happen, make something out of nothing, than Israel. And if we put our minds together and we have that faith, that blind faith, is just going forward and without doubting, I think there's nothing. That's the most dangerous thing in the world. And I think the most dangerous person is a a group of brothers and sisters, or I think the most dangerous thing in America is a thoughtful working black man. I got to say it. It's when you're well articulate and you know your history and you're not, don't need the, and this is not a negative towards white people, but you don't need white people to verify your existence or who you are. That's very dangerous to the status quo because they're not used to seeing that. So, and I'm saying that to say that I know we talked before and behind the scenes and things of that nature. And I know you're working on launching up a documentary. So I would love to hear about that. And also for those who are listening in, you're hearing Blog Talk Radio, the GOC Church Experience. I'm your host, Gabaria Sha'ala. We are having a discussion with Mr. Cameron, Trent Cameron, who is the actor of many movies like The Wood, DC Snipers. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, also Focus 2.
Yeah.
That's also, okay, also TV shows like The Parkers and General Hospital. The time is 10:01 Central Time, Eastern Time. And to call in if you have any questions, we're going to be taking a question in the hour in a few minutes. Is that 646-200-4309? That's 646-200-4309. So tell us about your documentary. What's been the trial and tribulation you've been going to try to launch this thing? What it's going to be about? And if you can't give those names, who involved or anybody that we know, or so, please do tell.
Okay. Well, we're still in pre-production with everything right now. I had always been wanting to bring out a documentary that would really reveal some truths. I mean, of course, we all know about the so-called conspiracy theories, but there really was no answer. And really pretty much what I like to do is through the documentary is really much of the doctrine that GOC and Elder Ricard being at the helm of it is pushing forward, which is just plain and simple, the truth. It's just the Bible, letter by letter, precept by precept, line after line. So pretty much that's what it is. I just really want to get the truth out through the documentary, and I'd like to compound the Bible with physical, elements that are going on. So many things that are going on right now physically can be explained and understood more if you bring in the spiritual element of it. And I think that's important because I find myself out and about talking all the time, and people are, it's interesting to see that people are actually getting it, somewhat understanding it, and open to it. And that's Israel and Gentile alike. Oddly enough, what's weird though is I'll say that a lot of Gentiles have maybe been a little bit more receptive to it because it's kind of a bit more dealing with reason, and we don't seem to really, our people don't seem to be able to reason too well. But so long story short, we're in pre-production. Right now we're hoping to get this thing out in March. As far as notable names and things like that, I'm actually shunning that and staying away from that. I really don't think it's important to utilize a lot of these individuals with, PhDs and masters. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen the zeitgeist, and we've seen these other documentaries that Alex Jones has done. I mean, we've seen the so-called professionals on the matter. I think I just really kind of would like to see something where the Bible speaks for itself, gives some great visuals and physicalities that kind of correlate with it all in all, and get it out there and see what it does.
Okay, definitely. I can't wait to see the final product, if you will, and it's very exciting. I think to my recognition, and I don't think this documentary is going to be like no other documentaries that have been put together, because we're talking about a subject matter that's been basically ignored.
Right.
The historical evidence. I mean, take away the Bible for a minute, which and we're never going to put that in the side. That's our shield. But just on the historical evidence that exists, that we are the Hebrews. I mean, you have the Ten Commandments were found up and all over the United States. You have within the Ivory Coast of Africa, you have Hebrew cultures that the slaves been left behind, and even you have many so-called African tribes that know they like the Lumber tribe, they kept the traditions, and so much evidence that exists. The Aztecas knowing that the story of the Bible before the white men told them anything about Genesis or Exodus or Revelations, they knew these stories passing down to generations. I mean, is amazing. This history has been ignored, and we know why, of course. But and what I have noticed is that, and this is always an issue, even with me when I first started coming into the truth, that is, people, even when they come across this information, is always they kind of like counsel this. They kind of work against themselves, because they'll say, well, there must be a logical explanation why this is not more known, or there must be a logical explanation. So they just kind of like dismiss it because there must be a logical explanation. Because when I did, I have been in a situation, I bring this information to different people. And I was speaking to in the street a few months ago to a Mexican brother, and they, when I was showing him, I was showing different books of historical books out when the first settlers here in America, and they discovered the Native Americans, and how the Native Americans were speaking Hebrew, and they knew who they are. Books like Lost Tribe and Promised Land, the History of the American Indians by James Deere. I could go on and on. He looked at me like, how is this possible? But it's almost like there must be a logical explanation for this. There must be a counter equal debate point with this. It's like and I think that's our biggest obstacle is not.
So he didn't believe it?
It wasn't that he didn't believe it. He was in shock. He said, I can't believe you're showing me all these books with this history. And I showed him, literally artifacts that was discovered here. And he couldn't believe, because it's so incredible. I think it's like the whole thing with the 9/11. And even the me looking at the 9/11 and we're working on getting some 9/11 experts. We have some researchers from England, and also some first responders we're working on bringing to the show. When I saw the evidence, it even took me back, because I just don't see how someone could be that evil. Mm-hmm. And I know we know the scripture. I know the scripture, but it's like, and I lost all respect for the United States of America. I mean, I never respected spiritually, but for all the talk that, Americans talk that we're tough, we will never allow this to happen, that to happen, for 9/11 to happen, with the overwhelming evidence to show that there was some form of coup or inside job that happened with certain elements of this country, and nothing happening. After the whole smoke clears, nothing happened to no one. I lost all respect for this country. So I have no respect for someone to tell me this is the best country in the world, and we have rule of law. This is a lawless country. They create their own laws and change their law when they see fit. So I don't, when I was an Israelite and I left the Israelite world within 99 2000. And then I got disenfranchised with that group, and I just basically went out, on my own. And I got around, I think, 2006 or 2007, I got connected with Elder Ricard in the church. But between those times, when I started doing the research of the 9/11, it was so profound. It literally almost, it was the pretext of bringing me back to the truth. Like this thing, there has to be more, and we have to, I have to be involved with something, and what's your perception when 9/11 happened? What the Hollywood was saying behind, I know there's been many Hollywood actors like, the guy from 2.5 Men. His name is leaves me.
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen. Also, you have the O'Donnell, Rosie O'Donnell. Also, came out and and clearly, I truly believe that white people could come back, and especially white Jewish people or actors could come back for statements like that. They could get away with making statements like that black people will be able to come back. But what's been when that happened, when 9/11, and shortly after that, and what was the because during that time you was in the Hollywood scene, what was their outlook on 9/11?
Well, of course, all the studios were shut down. And different things. It made it much more difficult. The security was ramped up big time. I remember, Paramount Studios, which is right there off of Melrose. They had a lot of changes in policies, security policies, and different things. All of that probably lasted for, I'm going to say, maybe 3 to 5 months, 3 to 4 months, somewhere in between there, and then all of a sudden it just kind of went away, and the tension subsided, and the security subsided, and it was just pretty much back to work as it was.
Back to normal.
But a lot of people were just. You still there?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I lost you there. I think a lot of the actors, and we just kind of discussing it, we were, back then I was blind and upset, and I had been, I was part of the, delusional crowd thinking, let's go get whoever did this, Goodness, back then I was 22 years old. But, I really think what happened is you kind of have to understand something I've been looking at, and this is going to also be in the documentary. I think a lot of people have been thinking like, people just kind of started to come in and start gaining the truth and knowing about 9/11, and it was an inside job and so forth. Well, what you have to understand is Hollywood let us know. See, what happened is Michael Moore came out with Fahrenheit 9/11, and Michael Moore is one of their guys. Well, I'm not going to say beyond the shadow of a doubt, but when you look at being able to bring out the type of movies that he's been able, or documentaries that he's been able to bring out on the big screen, and that is tremendously difficult to do in the documentary genre. Fahrenheit 9/11 had no pushback. So what I want a lot of people to understand is that I believe at that point, statistically, it just kind of makes sense that the powers that be, the Illuminati, the Masonics, whoever you want to call them, they understood that they had their power grid system in place tight, and now they needed to seep some information to the people that had some basis of truth so that the people can start getting out of line so they can have an answer for that, of course, being martial law. And I think it's the same thing with this whole Occupy Wall Street thing. So I think as the agenda is coming to a head, and, of course, we're out in the Middle East and so forth, or not we, but the powers that be, the Jewish factions are out there, the government, I think they wanted to stimulate a small portion of the minds of the people so that they would have a reason to be able to remove our rights more and more and more, but even beyond that, to openly, like what's going on now, it's just right at the beginning of it, to openly, put martial law in and, take our rights outright, because if we never would have known these things, then you don't have any pushback. Everyone would stay in their dumb stupor, and you just have a very docile people that, okay, wait a minute, they're not fighting back here. We need them to fight back. So through my research that I've been doing, that's also going to be in a documentary. That's actually been my take on it, that they're the ones that stimulated that through Fahrenheit 9/11 and Loose Change, those two documentaries.
So you think the powers that be also were backing up Fahrenheit 2/11? And, well, Fahrenheit 2/11, I know Michael Moore, I think he dances with the conspiracy, the powers that be, but I don't think he will, because even within the Fahrenheit 9/11, he did not focus on who did 9/11. He was focused that George Bush and his cabinet knew that Saddam Hussein did not have weapon of mass destruction. He was not in any way connected to the 9/11 events, and they went anywhere to control, the natural resources, which is, of course, is true, but he didn't focus anything on the who did the 9/11. But Loose Change actually did, and that did it in a very profound way. So you feel that they were controlling that or be involved with that? What's your take on that?
I feel that, especially with Fahrenheit 9/11, that they hinted, because, pretty much all it would take is, after Fahrenheit 9/11, most people will tell you, before Fahrenheit 9/11 came out, no one was going around saying that, there was an inside job. Now, of course, there was an inside job, and we all think the same on that level. But Fahrenheit 9/11, just couldn't come out and tell it all. They just had to set it up. Hey, the Bushes and the Bin Ladens, have been a part of the Carlyle Group and so forth for so long, and they have oil, and oil is their main interest, and so forth and so forth and so forth. But of course, those who they knew are somewhat of, free thinkers would start to put one and two together, and just the simple fact of knowing that 9/11 was an inside job, period, no matter what type of spin it had, they knew that people were going to start looking into that. And so, and again, that is really what raised big time. So I think, I really think that was the documentary that really catapulted forward this whole, conspiracy theorist movement, if you will, that they categorize us in. But again, this is through, my research that I've been doing. Some of it I can probably say is biased. Whenever you lean towards a certain spectrum, you tend to utilize, more of the research that you find that's in favor of that. But that is something that I am leaning towards. Yeah, I do believe that at this point.
Okay, so I'll be interested to see your spin and your finding, in documentary. And also, a few years ago there was a movie. I think it went straight to video. It was called The Color of the Cross. It was, I believe, was starred, and I think also was the John Clough McMurray, I believe. I might be McMurray, I believe. He was the director and producer of the movie. Are you familiar with The Color of the Cross? It came out.
I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay, there was the first portrayal of the Black Jesus. It came and went. It didn't really, it went directly to video, so it was a small little independent movie, and it was very interesting. I know the gentleman that starred and also produced the movie was getting some flack over it. What's within the Hollywood world, it's been, and I know you mentioned that you have you're more in the producer and or behind the scene creating different materials. Have you gone to different colleagues of yours and say, hey, I want to, talk about or have you involved with this particular project, and they shine away because they don't want to talk about certain subjects? Do you get that a lot, or you have experienced, some degree of backlash, if you will?
Yeah, I haven't gone to any of my entertainment connections at all whatsoever. I know that's pretty much a pointless thing to do, because I know already if I just wanted to do something on a secular level that went for the simple fact that it's going to be exposing who the true Jews are versus the false, Jews, that alone is enough, for them to run away from it. So I haven't even gone to them, and wouldn't.
Okay. I think I'm getting word here that Elder Ricard is going to be joining us. I think I see him here. Let me try to bring him in. Elder Ricard, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How you doing? Shalom, brother.
Shalom, brother. How are we doing?
Shalom.
So we're having a conversation here with Mr. Cameron, and I know we spoke briefly. I know you've been busy, and you told us you want to maybe join us. So thank you for joining us. I know, and I've been hearing here that you've been listening to the conversation. So Elder Ricard, I guess the floor is yours. What's your spin?
Well, yeah, it's like it's early in the morning where I am right now, but listening to the interview, I couldn't close my eyes, so I thought I would probably join you all. I want to thank the brother for coming on. I think that's, this brother can be a light to many people out there, brothers and sisters, to see the truth is breaking barriers all over the earth, and I want to thank the brother for coming on. It is groundbreaking. So I want to thank you, first of all, personally, brother. And
no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And the second thing is, I was thinking when y'all were saying that 911 was an inside job, wouldn't this be good? Wouldn't this be good for a T-shirt? Slavery was an inside job.
Exactly.
You're the same people that were behind 911 funded the slave trade. But I wanted to say, man, I'm glad, brother. I know I'm going to see you very soon, because brothers and sisters coming together, we just establishing a way so that once we have some level of substance, we can, if it be the Most High's will, then we can come back and grab as many people as possible when the hell break loose. And I know that's going to come. That's coming very soon. And I had a few questions for you, but I mean, it looks like Elder Gabar is handling you like Ted Koppel. Like he's the Israelite Larry King or something.
I'm learning from the back.
Yeah, but yeah, man. It's a lot of groundbreaking things going down right now, man. One thing, another brother called me years ago from Drew Hill. And he was one of the members of Drew Hill. Well, even years before that, we did a television show with The Truth where we started to bring the truth out nationwide, and me and this other brother created a show called The Hidden Truth. And we were getting pushed back in the 90s because we didn't want the controversial cursing people out, calling the white man the devil. We wanted to actually just bring forth the truth because the truth speaks for itself, and the truth itself passed through all boundaries. It doesn't matter. And hearing you on the show today is an example of when nothing is abrasive, when the truth is just the truth, it penetrates. And I thank the Most High for that, because what we've seen back then, well, what Christ brought, his example of how to deal with this is the pattern we use, and I think that's why we're talking to you now. But, I mean, through the hidden truth, we brought forth the truth, and we woke up the brothers from boys to men, Ahayah and Sean from boys to men.
Wow.
Years ago. And then one
I remember that.
And out of nowhere, one day, the brother from Drew Hill called me. He says, well, listen, I'm from Drew Hill, but you probably don't recognize me. You probably wouldn't recognize me because I'm the guy. I'm just the other guy in Drew Hill. And he says, I'm not the big guy. He says, I'm not the big guy. I'm not the guy with the blonde hair. I'm not Cisco. And I'm not the guy that can dance real well. I'm just the other guy. And he was talking to me. And he was a very humble brother. And he was saying how it affected him. He was living in the Poconos at this time. And he wanted us to come live near him. And I'm like, hey, I don't know about the Poconos, buddy. But anyway, but anyway, he was giving me some insight of the business, and it was probably beyond any step that I've ever achieved in the business, in the music business, when I was doing music. But he was telling me how, which is weird, he was explaining to me, being we was on this entertainment vibe, how the corporations came up with their emblem, which was like a dragon. And found
Red
out
Dragon.
And they found out that Drew Hill came from some old Druid sorcery type of Celtic ritual, and that's why that group catapulted over everyone at that time. He was mimicking Jodeci, and they ended up becoming bigger than Jodeci.
Yeah.
And he told me that there was this room at Sony. There was this floor in the Sony building in which not too many people went, and every time they would record,
where they pray over the music, satanic rituals, right?
Yeah. He said there was a black door where they would take his masters upstairs, and they wondered, like, what are they taking these masters in this room for? And it was the top guy from Sony, and then some other guy would walk in the room with him, and he wouldn't, and they would babyface all the time. And he was asking the secretary, like, who's going up in this room? Who's in this room? And she kept telling him, listen, mind your business. Stay key to what you're doing here, because some things are above what we need to know. Come to find out, he called me. He says the sister, which was the secretary, got fired. And then she talked to him again and told him. She says that's where they go. It's like it's an old room, similar to how Aleister Crowley used to pray over the Beatles material. They have a top sorcerer that goes into this room and prays subliminal satanic messages into all the music.
Yep.
And all the music have messages.
Yep.
Based on the agenda set forth. And it helped me understand something, and I wanted to say something. There's no such thing as someone being discovered. You have to realize these people have an agenda. Their scripts, everything they have to feed the beast. It has to be a part of their machine in programming. So if they, of course they need actors, they need singers, but, once they have a certain number of singers to bring forth their agenda, they don't need to sign 100 acts or 50 acts or 1,000 acts. You understand? Right. They pick who they want. They already have the producers in place. They have the studios in place. They have the agenda in place, and they have the witchcraft and all that in place, just to feed the machine. So,
right.
There's no such thing as we as a people going into their system, changing the system.
Which and yeah, I'm.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're right on with that, because, and that's kind of why I was mentioning, even with some, we'll see anything that we denote to be groundbreaking that comes out on a mainstream level. That's why I was even, commenting about Fahrenheit 9/11. You have to understand that nothing, the movie theaters are not going to play anything that has not been given, the go-ahead, so to speak, to play. And it has to play, like you say, everything is scripted. Everything that comes out has a goal that it's supposed to do. Even to the point that most people don't realize that most of these movies that you see coming out aren't even really making a profit. Okay, so what a lot of people think, okay, a movie has a $20 million budget. Oh man, they profited $40 million. You actually don't get into profits until you make 3 times of what the budget was. So a $20 million budget movie would have to make $60 million in the box office just to break even, because you have theater fees, distribution fees, studio fees, and actor fees, back-end fees, and so forth and so forth. So, and anyone who's been in the industry or gone to film school dealing with production knows this. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because that lets you know that it's the same thing with the music, how they go in and do what the same thing is being done with the film stock associated with the movies that come out.
Okay. Now, you hit it right on. Now, I don't mean to shift this all the way, but I just want to say a few things before I bail out. I want to continue to hear what y'all have to say, but I wanted to chime in and let brothers and sisters know a few things of what's going on, and I think this falls in line with what you're talking about. And I'm going to say this to all the brothers and sisters that's listening. Of course, Trent, I know you're going to be leaving out soon. I know that you and your people are going to be leaving out soon, and there's others also. I want to say this. Of course, the brothers and sisters that are on the streets in the United Kingdom, and the brothers and sisters that are out there teaching, like Gabar and the brothers that are still holding it down in the United States. Of course, I know y'all are going to be shouting the banter, come out of them, my people, spiritually and physically, until you are no longer there. We understand it. But I'm to a point where it's not about convincing, as far as I'm concerned. It's not about convincing people to come out anymore, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to where I am. I know you brothers out on the street right now, and if I was out there on the street with you, I would be saying, listen, this is what the Most High is saying, come out. I think that our focus needs to shift now that we know to come out. What do we do to prepare for those that will come out when the hell hits the fan? Right. So regardless of whether or not anybody believes that we should leave, the fact that we believe it is what we should act on. It's not about convincing somebody and just going, let's go to Jeremiah, let's go here, let's go there, because if a person that don't want to believe, they're not going to believe. That's just the way it is. And so we have to focus on those that do believe, and we have to focus on what we need to do to have a base spiritually and physically, so that people have options all around the earth, no matter where they are. Now, the second thing I was going to mention is that, and this is key, what I'm about to say is key point in the news right now, that I don't think brothers and sisters know what this implies. Like, today, like, I thought that they were going to probably not pass this bill. I thought that maybe they would just flash the bill out there and give Barack Obama a champion stance to veto it or just say that he's against it. I thought they was going to play it one way or the other. You don't know how these things are going to go sometimes. But they just flat out, man, they approved this bill that declares the whole world a battlefield and that they can detain citizens anywhere in the United States. They can detain them and they can hold them indefinitely. This is FEMA. This is the New World Order. This is exactly what we were talking about when we were on those streets, and people weren't even talking about FEMA. They wasn't even talking about anything. And we were telling people, listen, this is what they're going to do. It's going to be forced inoculations, forced vaccinations. They're coming after us, and what they're claiming to be just locking up suspects, it has nothing to do with suspects, brothers and sisters. We are the suspects. The Most High, I'm going to tell you, we've been suspect from day one, since walking off those ships. Since the Mayflower hit Plymouth Rock, we've been suspect. We are the suspects. So they're looking to detain us, destroy us, and kill us. They're looking to eradicate the seed of Jacob. You understand? And they're passing these bills irregardless of approval amongst their constituents. They could care less what you say. Let me tell you, Senate, Congress, and your elected officials, you're not paying them enough. This is a capitalistic society, and your tax money does not compare to what the elite is giving them. They are bought and paid for, and they're just dealing with their own lives. So at this point, we have to think about how to use the internet and use any resources we have while we have a chance. We have to get the resources we need while we have a chance. We have to pray to the Most High. We have to stay in prayer. And listen, when this internet is out and everything is gone, we'll have a place so that we can start filtering brothers and sisters regardless of where they are on the earth. And the Most High is making it happen. I thank the Most High for it. But again, this thing was passed today. And this is no joke. It's not about bin Laden anymore. It's not about Anwar al-Awlaki. It's not about Arabs. The terrorists are black people now. The terrorists are Mexicans. The terrorists are the children of Israel, the 12 tribes, you name them. If you're on that list, you are a suspect. They can detain you indefinitely. And they've been putting these things out, brothers, in the movies for a long time. One of the main guys they've been using for all of these was Denzel Washington.
Yep.
The movie Deja Vu, where it was showing a patriot within the United States looking to blow up something, even though we know that's a fraud. And then the movie The Siege, he was in years before then, in which in New York City they had a siege of martial law within the United States. And it's a siege right now. They just haven't told the people. And we just have to pray for our people. And then guess what? This is going to bring out the best in a lot of our people. I just seen a bill also that showed that if you're going to have welfare or food stamps, you're going to need to be checked. Okay, now whether or not someone believes that the chip is the mark of the beast, they can believe it or not believe it. This is what the government is about to do. I don't believe it, and I will never be shot with any foreign substance within my being. Okay, I will not bow to the mark of the beast. We have to fight this thing, and the Most High's Holy Spirit is going to help guide us through this. And look how many movies they've put that in. Manchurian Candidate. You name it. So I just wanted to put that out there and say, brothers and sisters, be ready. We had someone on last week for the World Passport. I don't know how good it is, but if you can't get a passport, I guess that's better than nothing. But pray to the Most High, be right with the Most High, and get ready. It's war. So,
and support the church. I can't say it enough. Present the church, because the church The church is going
to support each other.
Exactly.
You understand? Because I tell you this: if brothers and sisters if they knew what brothers and sisters were doing for preparation. I know a lot of people hate the fact that we left out. They have all these stories here and say this, that, and the other. But if brothers and sisters knew what we were doing, they would thank the Most High for it, because somebody got to step out and look at something alternative. Somebody got to be thinking outside the box, and I know it's the Most High that have us working outside the grid to try to make some of these things work and coming back in and grabbing our people, you know. And we've developed a lot of good relationships that's going to help our people. Ultimately, it's the Most High, but I'm just saying somebody have to do it. So
yeah,
and it's easy to sit back. It's easy to sit back and don't do nothing and claim how something should be done. And it's another thing to step out on faith and make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a system that if we support the system and the system is there, we have brothers overseas and Elder Ricard, we talk constantly, and you know me, I'm always, you know, pulling the little hair that I have, trying to do things together and then try to put things, and it is a system, if the brothers and sisters that are listening to the shows and are members of the church, if you support the system is going to support you. The church is going to support you, and is laying out, and is you're right, is going into that, you know, frontier and to the land of unknown, and being that first person there and said, you know, okay, how can I help my church be in this, you know, this unknown area and maneuver, and all that takes resources, takes money, it takes knowledge and time consuming to learn the laws of a different land and the culture, and getting to know people. People don't know you. You got to, you know, build a relationship. All those things is you know, is time consuming, is backbreaking, and so, you know, and I know it's a situation you cannot right now. You can't see it, touch it, feel it, taste it, because you know the scripture says that our people always, you know, the Greeks look for wisdom, we look for a sign, so we always need some form of evidence to kind of motivate us. But you know, we are working very hard, you know, behind the scenes to try to make things happen and to have a situation that when you leave this country, you don't have to worry about working, because it will be a self-sufficient government. I think that's the best way. You know, it's a grassroots society that we don't need anybody else except ourselves, and that's a wonderful idea that it is a dangerous idea, because when you have a group of so-called blacks and Latinos and Native American indigenous people coming together doing it for ourselves, that's the scary thing. That's the power. We don't need anything. We don't need anybody. We're okay. We don't need to go to the government, and we need a bill. We need a grant. We need money. We need, you know, keep that to yourself. We got our own. And you know, and I always say the man that could produce food, shelter, and water in the last days is gonna be king. And we need to, you know, step it up. We got to step it up, and now's the time. And we need help from the people and no one here is getting rich. Everybody is getting broke, helping. So you know, but you know, I look back and where we have been and where we have gone and where we are at now. We are gone. You know, and we got to thank the Most High for that. We definitely got to thank the Most High for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to say, also, I'm gonna tell you, if brothers even, you know, just say hypothetically, we'll be there for people who don't support. And because I'm going to say this, because you know, it's going to be a lot of different things that brothers can bring to the table. Some people can cook, some people can plow, some people can ride horses, some people can, you know, some people can, you know. But if someone have resources that can help, of course. You know what I mean? But I don't want it to be out there. I'm going to put out there that say that we're not going to help you if you don't send us nothing. I know you didn't say that, but I want to put that out there so that everyone knows.
Yes.
We're not doing. We know that they're about to flatline the economy and pull all the cash out of the system.
Right, but
we understand that already. I'm just telling people beyond all this. We're looking at the time in which the mark of the beast is instituted.
Absolutely.
That's all I wanted to tell the brothers and sisters. So I'm not saying that's an adverse or against what you said. I agree with you 100%.
Right. And I concur with what you're saying, brother. But also, we also need to help that sister or that brother that is, cannot financially help, but because they're in a fixed income, that widow, somebody's going to have to help that sister. Somebody's going to have to help that brother that is a cripple or it doesn't have the means to get out of flee, but it's been a support of the church and helped, and something comes to mind when the story of Christ, when they were giving the funds and the tithes to Christ, and then you had a widow, and I hear that all the time. I have seen people that have been, struggling and say, Elder Ricard, I only, Brother Gabar, I only have $20. I want to send it to the church. It breaks my heart because I get more of that type of support than anything else. The people that are in the bottom, and those are the people that we need to also help. But it goes, it started from the scripture. Comes to mind when that widow gave Christ only 2 pennies. And then, Christ said, she gave all that she had. She gave more than everybody else. And the apostles didn't understand what he was saying. And he said, well, the reason why she gave more, because she gave all she had. Literally everything. Her last 2 pennies. So that takes faith to do that. And then, you know what I'm saying. I mean, you and I, we talked.
Yeah. I just wanted to put that out there, and I done said my piece, and I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for allowing me to be on, and I want to thank the brothers and sisters for listening, and I know y'all got some more time, so I'm gonna sit back and listen to you all. All right.
Well, thank you, Elder. I know it's late into your area, so it's always a pleasure to you coming in and sharing.
All right, the water, shalom.
Shalom. Okay, shalom.
So, brother, we approaching the last hour. I guess we could take some phone calls if you mind, maybe answering some curious minds, if the listeners.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay. For those who are listening, we listen to the Gathering Christ Church Experience. The time is 10:47 Eastern p.m. The number to call in is 646-200-4309. And we have Brother Chris from New Jersey. You on the air?
Hey, how you doing, Kabar?
Hey, shalom, brother. How we doing?
Shalom. How you doing? It's me.
Good. Yeah. How we doing, Chris? How's everything?
It's going good.
Okay. Do you have a question or a statement?
I kind of wanted to make a statement, maybe a statement or two. Kind of going back to what you guys are saying about Michael Moore. He absolutely is a part of their system because he was actually exposed by Alex Jones, and I don't know if I fully trust him, though a lot of documents he's been putting out has been true. Like I heard about the bill that was passed today from his show today, actually. But he was exposed because on his documentary, Michael Moore never spoke about NORAD being told to stand down by, I believe, Dick Cheney gave the order. His job was to make, Bush and his people seem incompetent, as if, they just didn't know what was going on, like somebody slipped one by them. They kind of wanted to take the fault away because in actuality, when I believe when the first plane hit, or the second plane, I'm not sure, there were people with cameras on the floor, and there's videos on YouTube of people who saw the planes hit that were telling people that, it wasn't American Airlines, and one of those planes that hit definitely wasn't American Airlines. You could find the footage on YouTube. So what they wanted to do was, I believe, was to kind of get people to kind of get on their side, like, we all been tricked and we're all in this together, and, kind of like that, if you're against us, you're with the terrorists type thing. So I think that if people would have gotten angry then, that their plan would have failed because it was too early. You know what I mean? Like, they hadn't taken enough freedom away from the people to just put it out there in terms of trying to get people upset for martial law. That would have been too early because, people still had a lot of freedom then. So his job was kind of to mislead people, for sure.
Well, I think the powers that be did something what I consider brilliant. They, right after 9/11, they need to focus the energy on, the terrorists or someone. And then I remember during that time, they even speaking about the government or the government anyway being involved, you'll be considered anti-American or even a terrorist, or it was that thing in the air that everybody wanted to support the troops and let's get these bad guys. So it was after maybe 2002, 2003 that people started like looking back and assessing what happened. And I think Michael Moore. Anyway, I think Michael Moore touched on it. He because it was a very successful documentary. Because I remember it was doing around the same time that also Mel Gibson came out with the Passion of the Christ. So there was that thing in the air. You got the Mel Gibson thing was going on, and then you had the Michael Moore documentary came on. It was I remember that time. It was some. The movies, these two movies was really talking about, and I don't remember prior to those two type of movies, people talking about those type of issues, but I think you are right. I think, he touched on it. I think there's certain things he's not going to touch, but I think it started kind of, the spark, and I think Brother Trey, you could comment on that as well, in regards what was it? What's the brother's name that's on? Is it Brother Christian?
Christian. Okay. Yeah. No, I agree with that as well, Christian. What was very interesting that I noticed about the powers that be that are the satanic powers that are in position is that when they have an agenda in place, it seems that they can have 3 to 4 to 5 different outcomes simultaneously, the way that they bring things out. So it's amazing how it's like they seem to understand that they can bring out just an inkling of information that will slowly snowball into figuring out, okay, who's against us, who's more in favor of their freedoms, who's more of in support of the Constitution, and knowing that the bulk of the masses, of course, are going to stay in their drunken stupor, per se, while still being able to almost kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like almost with Alex Jones. It's like, I think I heard the Elder Ricard say some weeks back that if you sign up with his website, or you become a member or whatnot, automatically, you're on their radar or whatnot. So I'm kind of thinking that, through the research that I've done, that it seems that Fahrenheit 9/11 seems to also be something like that. It seems to have done, I'll say this in short, 2 things pretty profoundly. That's one, put in the idea that there is some sort of inside job, something's fishy, okay? I don't know if we can trust America so much. And simultaneously, it did allow for us it added to, the chagrin and hate that they wanted people to have for Bush, so that, of course, when Obama would come into office, he would be that, quote-unquote, chosen one, that breath of fresh air. So I think it kind of played those 2 things up.
Yeah, I agree.
And also, Brother Christian, I know you're going to be, you yourself are a musician. You play lead guitar, I believe.
Yeah.
So I know you're going to be playing in New York. Could you give us the dates and time again, and where you're going to be playing?
I'll be playing at the UC Lounge in New York on the 10th of December.
Okay.
That's a Saturday. I believe that we'll be going on around 10:30ish, 11 o'clock. I'm not too sure about the time. It's a band, a three-piece band. Me and my brothers, we do original stuff, rock and roll. You know, I mean, we made that anyways. That's our music.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the guys in the neighborhood say, yeah, man, we gotta take that back. but kind of touching on that, being a musician, it's just weird because like I've been aware before I knew of my true heritage, and even what tribe I belong to, I'm a Levite, and I always knew that there was something wrong with the world for a while, and I used to like be on the internet and search different things, and I mean I looked up the conspiracies about the aliens and Roswell, and eventually I got to like the New World Order, and basically it got to a point where when I got all the information, it just none of it really fell together. Then I ended up leaning on the Bible, and I just started reading, and one day I fell on a documentary telling me about who I was, and now I don't really. It kind of leads me to a point where I don't really know what to do because a part of me, I just want to make a living. You know what I mean? I don't really want to be famous. I like playing music, and I just want to live. Because I don't know how much longer we have. I mean, what suggestion would you have for somebody who has a talent like that, but I don't want to go to some major record label? Are there any safe places for someone like me to go, to make a living,
Yeah, yeah, certainly. I think that's a great question. Well, of course, we have the internet medium now. So really, I think probably your best bet is to really maybe get with someone who really understands marketing, dealing with the internet, utilizing a lot of the social networks to be able to get your music out. I think also an important thing is whatever genre of music that you're into, there's a way that you can be in that genre without, because I'm very much against it, I just can't imagine the Most High being for music that sounds so much like a lot of this secular music that's coming out. So I do kind of want to voice that. I hear some guys that come out, and I almost can't tell the difference because they'll rip off a melody that's like some secular artist that's been out that I used to listen to or something. But to answer your question in short, the internet is a great medium. YouTube is great. A lot of people that are so-called stars today have gotten their launch from there. So I think that's probably your best bet.
Yeah, and I think Brother Trent hit something that's very key. Sometimes you have artists or brothers that are in the truth and feel that, well, we need to sound the same like these hip hop or these these artists to kind of bring the people in, and I'm totally against it. I'm totally believe that if you could bring something different, and I think if you could bring that fire or that energy, that spirituality that we have within our soul, it will transcend, And I believe you could bring out music that is thought-provoking, that is spiritual, and you have a sound of its own. I'm a big fan of Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill, she comes up with with a lot of music that is powerful, and that album, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That's one of my favorite albums even to this day, and it was popular, but it brought in a lot of knowledge and truth, and I don't believe that you could have bringing the truth and acting and imitating Jay-Z and these type of artists. It's like oil and vinegar. So I think just bringing who you are, that soul, that spirit of who you are, and that spirituality into your music. I think that's the way to go, and don't be ashamed of that. Don't be ashamed, and don't say, well, I need to sound this way, I need to sound that way. Just sound like yourself. And I know I'm going to be visiting you, and very excited to hear some of your materials. I know you're working with your brothers. I know they're not as strong in regards to the truth, but maybe the Most High will wake them up. But definitely I know you and
they know they know about it, and from talking to them, they accept it because they've been with me from the door. Like I remember telling them if back in the day, if we make it in the music industry, they may try to shut me up because before I knew what I know now, I never was going to try to sound like anybody. Like, my music is really a reflection of me and where I was at that time and where I am now. So, I mean, there's songs where, I openly talk about the second coming of Christ. I have a song called Savior. So, I mean, but we don't sound like anybody. That's one thing. Like, it sounds like a rock band, but I don't think that there's nothing today that sounds remotely close to what we sound like. So I can say that.
I definitely saw your talents, and I know you sample a little of your talents in the church with helping Brother Joshua. And I know we've been talking, and we want to put something together. I've been so busy, so I'm definitely working on that and scheduling. I know I'm trying to actually. It's funny because this Friday, myself and Brother Joshua, I'm driving to Connecticut. He actually is going to be singing in a Christian diner or a Christian cafe, and we're going to try to bring in some truth. It's going, it's basically a traditional Christian, and I guess is I think right on top of a church, and they did a cafe for the young people to kind of they don't suffer any alcohol, and which is a good thing. It's just for young people to go and hear Christian music and things of that nature. So we're gonna go there, and we actually, it's funny because I think Sunday he was over my house, and we were going over different scenario and how to try to sneak in the truth and certain things in the Most High's name and Christ's name and just little things. So it was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I think I had to go to work the next day. I was like dead tired. And then he had to go. But it was just very comical, just thinking back. And it's like, yeah, you come in, you bring a scripture, and so hopefully we're definitely gonna videotape it, and definitely want to try to post that up. So, but I know I want to put you guys together. I know there's a lot of times over here in New York and this area, New Jersey. So we're definitely gonna try to do something big for the Passover, and I can't wait to see you performing. So tell us once again where you're gonna be performing, and where and when.
It's going to be the UC Lounge in New York, the December 10th. We should be going up around 9:30, 10 o'clock, around that time. I believe we may be one of the last bands on, if not the only band there. The name of the band is Cesium.
Spell that, please.
Cezium.
Okay.
Yeah, we spell it with the Z instead of the S. Well, basically, in closing about the band, because, my focus now musically is kind of shifting towards trying to make the type of music that would wake up the rest of Israel. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, back, I got a guitar when I was 14, and my dad brought me to a Prince concert, and that's when I wanted to play guitar, But before that, I actually used to rap, which is interesting. So, without a guitar, I would have been like a hip-hop artist or something right now. But I feel like, the industry as it is, they kind of taken, like, what what hip-hop was like a voice for our people, you know, to voice our feelings and our political views and just, you know, things that are going on in our neighborhood. And they've taken that and kind of, you know, dumbed that down. So when you listen to hip-hop on the radio, it's not the stuff that, you know, that I used to hear when I was younger, you know what I mean? Like Public Enemy and, you know, guys like that with that type of positive outlook, or not necessarily positive outlook, but a truthful outlook, you know.
Yeah, critical thinkers, really political, definitely. Yeah, so I felt like, okay, well, since they took that, you know, and messed that up, so I'm going to go back and take what they took from us further back, and, you know, I'm going to bring it back, okay, and, you know, try to do something about it now. So that's the attitude that I kind of bring to my music. You know, it's in your face. It's bold. You know, if you listen to the lyrics, I'm not trying to hide that I believe in God. So, you know, like some artists try to, you know, some Christian artists kind of try to sneak it in there. You know, I can't do that anymore. You know what I mean? In fact, one of the biggest issues I've had so far, like, I'm kind of tired of, you know, walking around calling myself black. You know what I mean? Like, and I know there's probably a lot of people on the phone that feel like that. Like you know that you're Israel now, and you're like, man, you know, you go fill out a job application, you got to put African American. You looking like, yo, this is crazy. You know, and I don't know. I don't know how to really get that off my chest because it really makes me mad. You know. Yeah. Like you know, but I'm gonna let somebody else get on. But I don't really know how to calm down that feeling because like that. I want my heritage. I want to be able to walk down the street, you know, like I'm a Levite, that's who I am. I'm not Haitian, I'm not black, I'm not African American, and, you know, like I can't wait to get past that stage. So, I mean, I've been waiting for the second coming for a long time. So, I don't know.
If I may just drop in there, you know, Proverbs 28:1. I mean, there's nothing better than the scriptures to uplift you and give you, you know, some direction. That's what I always do because we always find ourselves clouded or get off the path for a moment. Proverbs 28:1, in short, reads, "The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as lions." Amen. And I just think, you know, brother, hey, there's a reason that you're feeling the way you're feeling. So hey, I've been letting people know I'm Israel. You know, Israelites that don't know, okay, who they are, as well as Gentiles. And they look at me crazy for a moment, but you sound like a brother who you can get your thought process across. And when they continue to hear you speaking and you start dropping these scriptures to prove such, compounded with even in their history books, okay, and, hey, they'll start to receive it. And if not, that's all right. At least you know you've done what you're supposed to do. And guess what? You'll feel better.
Absolutely. So you know, Brother Chris, just hold on and stay strong. We're gonna be working together. I'm definitely gonna come see you, you know, perform, and we're gonna try. You know, we actually do something for the Passover. Do some collaboration with the other brothers. So, you know, once again, thank you for supporting the show, and you know, we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. Shalom.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay, we have brother Vegas. Who do we have? Is Ahayah? Uriah. How we doing, brother? Welcome to the show. Can you hear us? You're coming in clean.
You can hear me. Yep. Brother Ahayah. Yes.
Shalom, brother. How we doing?
Shalom, blessed. How are you all? It sounds like everything's going great. Like the other, I also had a little experience in Hollywood. I actually went to school out there for sound engineering and wanted to be a musician/artist, but I always felt like the Most High preserved me from that industry, and going out to Hollywood was basically the last straw because once you're out there, it's absolutely nothing like what the television displays or what you think it is, or, you know, you think that you're going to do hard work in the studio, basically sleeping under the soundboard day and night and day, and you think that, oh, you do your hard work and you're going to get a good job, you're going to get this, and I was quick to catch on that it's all it's really a vibrational kind of thing, and if you're not that submissive with your vibration as far as your spirit and compromising, other spirits or other people can sense that, and you'll pretty much be weeded out of the process really quick. But my main question was, as far as I know, a lot of us are now blessed and thankful that we didn't go that route or didn't end up getting deceived or losing our souls or spirits in the loophole, because all of us just want to make good music, and it really comes down to it. The origin is to use it to praise the Most High, and now when it comes to making music to praise the Most High, or also making films and forms of entertainment that, well, I can't call it entertainment, just outlets. I was wondering if the brother that's on the show is looking forward or open to working with other brothers in the GOC to make films or shorts, and what his ideas were upon that, or what his ideas were about that, how he felt about that.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Any talents that you have, any art that you have, so we're needing a ton of things. It may not possibly be for this particular project, but the plan is to continually get out more and more projects. The idea is to probably get out one every 3 months, Most High willing. So I know scoring is a big thing. So if you have a background in music, that would be beautiful, because it's really difficult. Music, finding the music is one of the most difficult things because of the licensing terms and different things that come into effect. And what I've been doing is purchasing a lot of that stuff, and we only get so long. I don't know if people are familiar with licensing terms with music, but hey, that means you can only use that music for like a year. So if the documentary happens to do well on YouTube and it continues to play and it's bounced around, then they can actually start to take it down for the reasoning of I didn't purchase a long enough licensing contract.
Wow,
so,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's been a big issue of ours. So anyone with any, who's, musically inclined, scoring, have any type of history with that, deals with Pro Tools, or Adobe Audition, hey, we're definitely open for that.
Okay, definitely. That was pretty much my question, because I've had a couple of works, and upon the truth, and also it's a combination of the truth and some of my dreams, visions, and my life itself, and also the music as well, always looking to do scores and what have you. So definitely, that's good to know. And also I had a question for the elder. I sent the email out as far as the tithes. I sent the email out, and I didn't receive a response on how exactly to tithe to the church. So I was like, okay, I'll just tithe locally, and or maybe that's the best route.
Okay, so I see you in Vegas, correct? Are you connected with Elder Ezra in the Vegas area?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, we actually gave him some avenues and how to also help you out with that. So he has all the information you need.
Okay.
So get in contact with him in regards of paying tithes and helping the course. And so and Matt, we definitely appreciate you helping, because we definitely need it.
Oh, I appreciate you guys staying obedient to the Most High, because that's what it really comes down to. I know you guys being the elders when nobody else is around, nobody's in the truth, and obedience and discipline is not as everybody thinks it is. I'm definitely grateful and thankful, and I'm praying to the Most High, thanking him as well for your guys' obedience, because when you're out there alone doing it is different than talking it. Walking it and talking it is way different. So all glory to the Most High for you guys as well.
And also, but I don't mean to interrupt. Quick question: Are you know how to deal with Pro Tools? Are you familiar with that term?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you are. Okay, great.
Maybe I can set up an email specifically, maybe for the next time you come on, where anyone who might want to be a part of the documentary or has any type of expertise that they feel that they can bring, maybe they can email. Right now, I just don't have an email to give.
Okay,
but is that something that I can possibly do?
That's a great idea, brother. That's a great idea. And what I'm going to do also, brother, I'm going to grab also your number. I see your number here, so I'm going to keep you in my Rolodex, and we'll definitely keep in contact. Because and I always speak to Ricard about this, that we should set up some form like an 800 number with people that may have some talent that we may perhaps can utilize. And it was funny because there was one sister that I was talking to who was in my congregation, and she actually works and makes as an analyst, and she is a researcher. And she actually owns her own company, and companies hire her. And I was like, wow, I know you for so long, for like almost a year now. I didn't know this what you did for a living. So it's always good to network, in that way. So we're gonna grab your number, brother, and brother Trent. That's a great idea, And I'll do is I'll put that information in the next, my next show, and in regards of, and I think it will be helpful too, to put a list together of exactly what talents you are particularly looking for.
Right.
We need help with this. We need help. So anybody that has those particular talents and experience and degrees, please, contact this particular email. So I think that would be helpful too. So brother, so thank you for calling in. And so supporting short, and we'll definitely keep in touch. Shalom. Okay, we have also Brother Nagad. Brother Nagad from I see here. Hold on, wait. Let me try to bring him in. Brother Nagad from Vegas. How we doing, brother? You're on the air.
Shalom, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. You got a question or statement?
Yeah, pretty much a question. Like me, Ezra, we went out a couple days ago, actually yesterday, to the streets and whatnot, and seeing how Ricard just mentioned that they did pass that law. I knew they was trying to get it in effect. I didn't know that they passed it, so I was wondering, like, ultimately, yeah, I'm following my elder regardless. Would you recommend that we go straight to the neighborhoods of Judah and Issachar, seeing how they pass these laws to detain us if we go to the strip, because we have had a little problem on the strip? That's not that I'm scared or nothing like that. It's just, trying to be wise about it. It's a lot of different nationalities and stuff walking up and down the strip, and it's a good area to actually go prophesy. But do you think we should go to Judah first and go to these neighborhoods to where our people is at first, see how they just put these laws in effect?
Yeah, well, I truly believe there's no really scientific way or right or wrong way. It's just preaching the word, because you never know who could be walking around. But definitely throw those ideas. Definitely throw those ideas to Elder Ezra, and and maybe you could switch, change it up a little bit. I know in my experience sometimes people they have risen the argument for staying in one place and consistency, because people always expect you to be there, and then you can build kind of like a fan base situation, and you also hear the argument on you got to jump around to different places. There's really no right way or wrong way to kind of do it. But as long as you do the work, and I know you guys are doing the work up there, that's what's a blessing.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't, like, you know, I guess just, you know, worry about men in this system, you know what I'm saying, how they can just do all these type of things to pass laws against Judah and Israel, you know, and it's like, man, dealing with this system ain't no joke. And, you know, it's like, man, I ain't trying to get caught up in it. Now, if I do, I'm still going to stand and do the work. I just wanted to, you know, get a word of advice out of it, you know what I'm saying? And to start back going to the street.
And also, always look at the laws of the land in regards to different areas. I know that now they're having zones, areas that, you know, public zones, so, and especially, I'm pretty sure Vegas have a whole bunch of laws and zones and places that you can't speak, and so, you know, that it's always good to learn the language, because, you know, over here in New York, I could never get a straight answer from these police officers in regards to what is the law. It's like, you speak to 10 cops, you just say, you know, 10 different things, so you just got to do the work and use wisdom with that.
Yeah, because they actually put up a no trespassing sign in the fence where we first started going. You know what I'm saying? The Arabs, you know, they kept calling the police on us. I mean, but we just kept going until they finally put no trespassing and fences around it. It was me, Ahayah, and Elder Ezra. You know, Elder Ezra, he used to be smashing the nations like, look, y'all ain't did this, and letting the people know, like, this is what they do. Because right there where we was, man, it was like every store that's right there within a block of each other was, you know, owned by a different nation. And, you know, we bringing the scriptures out in the Arabs. They was listening at first till the elders started exposing them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so they immediately shut that area down.
Okay, so but you're doing the work, and that's what's important. And I know you guys on the Sunday where you got Elder Ezra. He's on Saturday night, which will be, I believe, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 7 o'clock Pacific. And also on Sunday at the same time, 10 o'clock Eastern, you know, 9 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Pacific. So thank you again, brother.
Yeah.
I know you're probably traveling. You come from work. I hear some background there noise, but thank you and thanks for you know, supporting the show.
All right, shalom, brother.
Shalom. Okay, that's Brother Nagad. We have Kelly. Kelly. You on the air?
Yo, shalom, brothers. It's Kyle, not Kelly.
Kyle, you know what? He's write these things so small I can't even tell the names. But you know, brother Sarai, if you could put the caps, that would probably be helpful for me because I'm old and I'm turning blind. So how we doing, Brother Kyle?
Yo, it's good. It's all good, man. I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. Shalom to you, brothers. How you tonight?
Pretty good.
Shalom.
You have a comment or question?
Yeah, no doubt. I want to send a little encouragement to the brother, to the caller twice removed, talking about, you know, he tired of proclaiming he so-called African, you know, want to proclaim that he's an Israelite, you know, and I know you, Brother Trent, you in Hollywood dealing with, you know, these so-called Jews out there that's feeling themselves a lot, talking about they the chosen people and everything. I just wanted to read Revelations 3 and 9 to them. You know, it says, "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee." You know. Yeah. So we're going to get our time, man. We're going to get our time.
And to be honest with you, you know, I know we quote Revelations 2 and 9, but I believe that Revelations 3 and 9 is even more profound. Why? Because it's a stating of future prophecy. I will make them of the synagogue of Satan to come before thee and know that I have worshipped, I have loved thee, meaning the real Israelites, the real people of the Bible. And, you know, I always, you know, sometimes when I go in the streets or I'm debating with someone in regards of, you know, who's the synagogue of Satan, some people will go, and I deliberately do that. I deliberately go and say, well, you know, 2 and 9. And they'll say, well, that was back then. That was some, you know, people back then. I say, well, who, you know, and then I go to 3 and 9 and say, well, this is when this happened? When did the synagogue of Satan came down and worship before the children of Israel and know that the Most High has loved the true Israelites, the true people of the book. He said, well, we can't answer that because it hasn't happened yet. So that scripture is profound because that's stating a prophecy that is going to happen. It's not saying if or maybe. I will make them of the synagogue of Satan to come before thee and worship and beg for forgiveness for stealing our names, stealing our heritage, taking what belongs to ours, and we are proclaiming and taking it back in the name of Christ.
Exactly, man. And I just wanted to bring up another thing to y'all. Maybe y'all can discuss it, you know, when I'm off. I'm just trying to figure out, man, why these different factions of Israelites are rocking the seal of Solomon, man. I mean, that seal been all over the place. Hieroglyphics in Sumeria, Buddhist temples, man, it's been all over in every religion, man. And they thinking because the Rothschilds put it to the nation of Israel that we got to rock that, man. What's going on with that? Like, how many factions of Israelites are really corrupted by the beast, man?
Well, you know, I got to confess, I rocked the shoe of Moloch at one point, thinking it was a shoe of David. And I used to have a bunch of garments in my house thinking I was picking up my heritage. You know, I think, you know, some of them are waking up to the fact. I know there's some, you know, I think Israel United in Christ. I think they put down the shoe of Moloch. I know there's some here and there. I know some few groups here and there. They took that down. But some of them are just, you know, caught up in the old way of thinking, and they don't want to cut the umbilical cord of the old type of the old thinking. And that's the Most High. You know, that's only the Most High can wake them up. We just got to do the work. And you know, I'm glad that many of the brothers and sisters that are in the Gathering Christ Church never even were corrupted with that philosophy or understanding, and they didn't even deal with that, you know, symbol of Moloch and Satan. So we just got to do the work and pray for those brothers.
Right. That's it, man. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you, brother. Thank you for supporting the show, and keep listening and keep supporting.
All right, man. No doubt.
Shalom. Yeah, you know, it's the evolution of the truth coming through, and us finally finding out who we are and what is right and wrong in regards of our culture, because I believe, you know, many part of our culture still have yet to discover, and it's a learning process. So and for those brothers and sisters that have they call in and you know, made a statement or a question, please press 1 again for you. We could take you up the tab and give other brothers and sisters opportunity to come in as well. We have Sister Sandra. Sandra, you on the air?
Hi, how you doing?
How are we doing, sister? You have a question or comment?
Yes, I wanted you to explain Revelation 3 and 10 to me. It said, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which will come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Okay, what does it mean by the hour of temptation?
You have the Bible in front of you, sister?
No, well, I'm on my iPhone. I have it on my phone.
Okay, and you're referring to Revelations 1?
3 and 10.
3 and 10. Okay. When you go to Revelations from 1 to, I think, even up to 10, this is Christ speaking to John in the Isle of Patmos, and he was giving John several things, several revelations in regard to the end of the world and certain things that they must surely come to pass. But he also was giving John a warning. John was one of the last apostles to actually survive.
Okay.
The majority of the apostles died, got killed, got murdered. John was, I believe at this time, actually John was disfigured because he was thrown in a pot of hot boiled oil, but somehow the Most High made him to survive that. So this, John was at this point, to some degree disfigured, and he got excommunicated and into the island of Patmos, and that island in the lowest day, which is the Sabbath, the Most High reveals certain things to him. And he was a lot of these particular chapters. He is warning the church. There was seven major church that Christ was warning, and was using John as a messenger to warn the church to come back to that first love. Because at this time we're talking about, a good 20, 40, maybe 50 years after the death and resurrection of Christ. So the church has really been established. And the truth has been portrayed, and preached throughout, that area, but it was being corrupted. So, in regards of, and you're saying Revelations 3 and 10?
Yes. I wasn't understanding when they say I will also keep thee out. Are you talking about the children of Israel, the ones that come into acceptance, or at the time you're talking about when they accept him, didn't he keep them from the hour of temptation?
Yes, the hour of temptation is referring to when, it has multiple meanings, but it's dealing with when Christ, when Satan, will come to tempt you. He's going to protect you from. He's going to protect you from that hour. It's not a particular hour per se, but it is that when Satan is always trying to tempt you in that that in that midnight hour, so to speak.
During that particular time.
Exactly. So if you follow Christ, He's going to protect you from Satan, who is only here to destroy, to lie, to cheat, to devour. You put that armor of Christ, He's going to protect you from that hour of darkness. And we all been there. But we're still here. So thank the Most High for that.
Okay, thanks a lot, and shalom.
Shalom, sister.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. And also that time of that hour is also talking about right now. It's talking about this particular time. It's talking about Jacob's trouble, and we've been in Jacob's trouble since the falling away, which is in 70 A.D. And that is, and also that hour, because it's talking about, it has multiple meanings, but it's also the time when Babylon gets destroyed, and the 10 horns receives a strength for that 1 hour. That's also talking about that as well, because America is going to be destroyed, and also it says, let me get it real quick. In 1 hour, her judgment has come. And also, sister, if you're still listening, you could get that scripture in regards of when the judgment of Babylon comes, and she will be destroyed in 1 hour. Let me see if I could get it here. Just give me 1 minute. All right, just give me 1 second. We could go to several places. Revelations 18 and 10. Revelations 18 and 10, which is referring to. Let me read it. And it says, matter of fact, let me start at the 9th verse. It says, "And the kings of the earth who had committed fornication with committed fornications and lived religiously with her. Her is Babylon, a.k.a. America, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thou judgment come. So that also is talking about the destruction of Babylon that is going to come in that 1 hour. So the Most High is going to protect us. You know, now many scholars will argue, well, does it really mean 1 hour? Is it talking about a particular, it's not necessarily talking about an hour. You know, we could debate that, but the key thing is that you want the Most High to protect you from that hour, that destruction. So it's also referring to the destruction of Babylon, which we are seeing right before our eyes right now. We're seeing, you know, they're talking about going to Iran. They're talking about collapsing the dollar. They're talking about, you know, things are going to go, you know, jobs are fastly leaving this country. We're in this hour right now, and the Most High is protecting us right now. But to get the precept is referring to actually the destruction of Babylon, which we're seeing right now because, you know, Elder Ricard said it, that one of the first things when a country gets attacked is the economic structure. They start taking the money outside or robbing that particular country. And these days, robbery is done more sophisticated. Back in the day, it was under a gun or a sword. But now you have a more sophisticated theft. In America, you know, the bankers are robbing this country blind, and they're going to leave us, you know, picking up the bill. And hopefully the Gathering Christ Church and every member of the Gathering Christ Church, we're going to be out of here by then. Also in Revelation 17, the 12th chapter, also speaks about the hour of destruction. Let me get it real quick. Revelation 17. Let's start at 16th verse. It reads, And the 10 horn which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, which is America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. Okay, this is talking about the 10 horns. And then when you will go to the 12th chapter, it's going to show that the 10 heads or tails, which is the European Union, the EU, they're also going to receive power after they destroyed America. And to get that, you got to jump back to the 12th verse, Revelation 17 and 12. It reads, And the 10 horns which thou sawest are the 10 kings which have received not kingdoms as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. They're going to receive power after they destroy America. All the wealth, all the resources are going to try to give back to the 10 horns. Because remember, America is that little horn that came out the 10 horns. And from the 3 horns they were plucked out, which is England, Spain, and France. Okay, so I hope that covers up that question. Okay, we have more. Let's see here. We have Memphis, Brother Rashab, I believe. Are you on the air? Hello,
yes,
you're on the air.
How you doing? Shalom.
Shalom.
How y'all doing?
Pretty good, Shalom. Welcome to the show. You have a comment or question?
Yeah, I just got a couple of comments, man. You know what I'm saying? First of all, I just want to thank the Most High Ahayah by Shia, and you know, the water Barakatah for you brothers, man. Hearing the brother testimony, you know, that's you know that's in Hollywood and stuff like that. He came to the truth, man. It's pretty much the same testimony, and that's how you know we all dealing in the same spirit. That's how you know the spirit, you know, of the Most High is working within all of us. You know what I'm saying, as a whole. You know what I'm saying, and I thank you know what I'm saying. I also thank you know the Most High for you. You know I thank the Most High for Elder Gabar. You know what I'm saying. I thank the Most High for all my brothers and sisters in His body. You know what I'm saying. I wanted to say something. Something that struck me. I was talking. You know, me and Brother Jarrell. You know, we the brothers up here in Memphis. You know, that's doing the work, and I shared some things with him based off you know the experience we had you know in bringing the truth out. You know what I'm saying to our people. You know what I'm saying, especially our family members and stuff like that. People. You know, you give people the word, and you actually see, you know what I'm saying, how that seed falls on good and bad grounds, and you see the actual, you know, events of the parable of the sower, how it plays out. And you know, to some, you know, results can be a bit discouraging. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen it happen time and time again. That's why I say, for those of us that's out there doing the work, you know, preaching, you know, spreading the word, don't be discouraged if folks don't accept it. You know what I'm saying? Just keep them in our prayers. There's strangers and family members alike. I got something here in Revelation chapter 22. Revelation chapter 22, starting at the 10th verse. It says, and I'm gonna read all the way. Well, I'm going to start at the 10th verse. It says, and he said unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he that is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still.
Amen.
So
Amen.
just, you know what I'm saying, like Elder Ricard said, you know what I'm saying, people have pretty much made their choices, you know what I'm saying? It's up to us to continue to sow that seed, you know what I'm saying, of the Holy Spirit, of the Word of God, you know what I'm saying? And just pray for them, because a lot of our people a lot of people in this world have pretty much made their choices in these days and times, and like even before, like when they bill, you know. Over the Sabbath, we was talking about them how that bill was going to be passed. You know what I'm saying? It really confirmed that, you know what I'm saying, how really we are in the spirit, how we run the spirit, because Elder Ricard came on and was like, look, you know what I'm saying, we need to just, we out here preaching, we out here, you know what I'm saying, preaching the word, we out here, you know, spreading the truth and all that, but we really have to look until, you know, you know what I'm saying, thank the Most High that we know, thank the Most High that we're righteous, you know what I'm saying, that we're holy. I want to keep reading. It says, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may enter through the gate unto the city.
Yeah, and those rewards are not only positive rewards or crowns, but also judgment.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So, and it also said that, you know, his garment is going to be dipped with blood, like the winepress. So there's going to be a lot of killing that day. A lot of killing.
Right.
It's a dreadful day, you know. But you know, I know you, brother. You know, Brother Zarai, he's behind the scene in the studio, working the studio. You know, I want to thank you. I know you guys are definitely doing the work over there in Memphis, and you know, and keep the good up, you know, the good work, and thank you for supporting the show.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom, brother. Okay, we want to try to towards the last 15 minutes of the show. We're going to try to, you know, make it quick as much as possible with the calls here. We have a lot of calls here, so let's try to, you know, as fast as possible. I see here you're on the air from Louisiana. Caleb, Yap.
Yes, indeed. Actually, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona.
Arizona? Okay.
Yes, indeed.
How we doing, brother? How we doing? Okay.
Hey, dude, feeling blessed, brother. Feeling blessed. All praises. Thank you for receiving me. First and foremost, I want to give thanks to the Most High in Christ for you brothers and putting the word out. You know, I was actually want to make a confession. I learned from the brothers Israelites in Christ, and we were kind of like against the whole notion of you brothers going overseas and all that. But you know, I've come to realize that the error about ways. I think the Most High moves the spirits and puts the brothers and sisters in places that He needs them. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to kind of call you guys and kind of make my verbal apology for my words against your ministry and all that, and kind of want to exhort you brothers for what you guys do over there in the States and overseas and wherever, spreading the gospel. And I hope you continue. The Most High blesses you brothers to continue to spread the gospel to all four corners of the globe, getting the word out to Yasharallah. I just want to say that I'll be quick and get off the air. Brother Caleb signing off.
Well, thank you, brother. And there's no apology, even needed. You being with us and being part of the body is thank you enough. We love those brothers. You mentioned it was Israel United in Christ.
Indeed, yes.
Okay, yeah. I know some of those brothers myself, and matter of fact, I think few sisters came to the church this past weekend from from Gad. I know Gad and brother. Yeah. They departed ways. Brother Daniel and then Gad. I think
Gad. Ricard.
Yeah. So outdoors always going to be working with those brothers. So I only have love for them, and the sisters. They came into the church, and they want to be part of the body. So that's hey, it's a celebration every time somebody walks through those doors.
All praises. I just look forward to the day that we all come together and we can just say, we're back together as Israel.
Exactly.
Leave the names aside. Come back in the name of YAWASAP. You know what I'm saying? I know that's what you brothers want. That's what I want. I think that's what we all want. And I know that when the YAWASAP returns, we'll all see eye to eye.
Well, that is true. That is true. And I know there's been division, and I'm always open to talk. I'm always open to converse. The doors is never closed in any way, shape, or form. With that, and since you've been with the group, we could sit down and call the brothers. Let's have a discussion.
Yeah, I'm definitely with that.
That's definitely. I would never ever be against that. So.
Indeed. I mean, Scripture says the reason. That's what we should be doing right now, instead of having these. I call it debates. You know what I'm saying? And Scripture says the word shouldn't be debated. I think we should sit down and reason, like you said. I mean, sitting down and reason, there should be nothing wrong with that. Putting pride to the side, because that's not of the Spirit. The Spirit is of long suffering, meekness, temperance. So I think you're right. I think once we get to the point where we can do that, we can sit down and actually reason amongst each other. I mean, some of us may have some doctrine that's maybe not scriptorial, but hey, it's not our place to judge. It's right now is a place of mercy.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And if you don't mind, I would I would like to grab your number. I have it here in the studio, and then maybe we could talk afterwards, and then definitely. Maybe continue this conversation.
Definitely. You got a pen?
Yeah, no, I have it here in the studio. I don't want because your number's coming up. I grab it. I
okay, good.
Yeah, it's 8116. So I got the number here.
There you go. You got it. All praise.
So I'll definitely keep in touch with you, and maybe this will be open the door to maybe some more conversation with Are you still? Do you still keep in touch with the brothers? Are you still with?
I do.
Okay.
I talked to them. As a matter of fact, I talked to them today.
Okay. So we definitely need to talk, man. And I'm open, man. I miss a lot of those brothers I used to roll with, and so it's always a blessing to just talk to somebody from the old school.
Oh, that's beautiful, brother. Yeah, I look forward to hearing your voice, brother. And Glad you took my call once again. Most High in Christ bless you and the family.
Shalom and good night. Thank you.
All right, brother. Shalom.
Shalom. Okay, we have Brother, I believe Brother Ra'ai, Elder Ra'ai. Are you on the air?
Shalom, Mark. What's going on?
Shalom, brother. So, what we have in store for tomorrow and your show? I know there's always some exciting things you come up. So what's the latest over there in Texas?
Well, in Texas we still coming together. We still trying to get us a building, but we doing decent on numbers, and I just wanted to call and give you props on your show or whatnot. You're making it harder and harder for me every week, so I appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, I'm not looking to ratings. I don't want to look into ratings. But I don't. What was those numbers? I forget. But who's counting?
Okay, it's all good.
Well,
it's all good.
For the people who may not know, this is Bishop Ra'ai. He's on the show on Thursday night. And we got this friendly competition to see who has the higher ratings in our show. And unfortunately, I've been cheating because I've been having other Ricard. I have other brothers. So I guess I've been. Yeah, but hey, you got to use everything you to your disposal, I guess. So
right, you got all these name-brand people coming on your show. I'm gonna get my weight up one day. My name running there with the big boy. But
what you got in store for tomorrow's show?
Tomorrow we're gonna be. I'm going through a breakdown of wisdom, worldly wisdom versus the wisdom of the Scripture according to the Most High. And we know that, and the reason why I want to go into that is to kind of go into the understanding of the mind frame of the brothers and sisters that we deal with, with the understanding that that when we bring this information to brothers and sisters, to them, it's in a lot of ways because of the what we've been taught outside of the Scripture. So we have to keep that in mind when we go to brothers and sisters. So we can use that understanding as a way to help us try to gain brothers and sisters, because we can deal with them according to their understanding. And I just want to kind of go into it and show, according to Scripture, how the Bible views the knowledge of the world, also dealing with the understanding of science and things of that nature. To show that those things are utterly nonsense according to the Scripture, and everything in it is really basically used to try to explain things and at the same time deny the truth of the Most High according to Scripture. So we want to go into that. And, of course, we got Brother and Elder Zariah with the True Jew News. This brother's on fire with the news, and he's bringing a lot of things. Last week, just to kind of go on what Elder Ricard had went into a little bit, but last week he went into the understanding how that we're in the time, we're in the place now to where they are starting to demonize us as a people and make us the terrorists now. And the last big thing they had on the news was the Issacharite brother, or what we call the Mexican brother, who supposedly shot at the White House. And the kicker was that he had Israel tattooed on his neck. So, these are the things that, we need people to be aware of at this point. That, these things are going on. So, Brother Zariah, the news that he's bringing out, these things are so relevant and so on point that, I'm amazed sometimes, because I don't always know what he's trying to bring out. So that's always a good thing. Of course, we have the Scripture of the Week with Brother Lamar, who he just does weekly scriptures to kind of give brothers something to reflect on and kind of help you out throughout the week. And and we're working on getting Brother and Elder Lawyer on the show. We're going to do an interview with the brother, kind of pick his brain a little bit, and and just get some information and see how they're doing and these things, so on and so forth. So in the next upcoming weeks, we're going to get that going and start interviewing different brothers and sisters, just to put everything in perspective and to just see how brothers and sisters are doing. So we also have the whole thing, what scripture is that, where the audience calls in and participates, and we get feedback from the audience as far as different things that you heard according to Scripture, and how to handle these things according to Scripture. Because the whole point is that we want to edify brothers and sisters and prepare brothers and sisters to be able to go out with the Bible and do the work and to stand against false doctrine and the enemy on all fronts. Because we know we fight a spiritual battle. So that's what we got going on.
All right, that's exciting. I'm also excited for Brother Elder Lawyer coming in. He's always been a mysterious brother too. He's always a serious brother. You always see him smile. He's all about the work of the Most High. So that will be interesting show just to hear his testimony, how he came to the truth and how he woke up. He's a powerful brother. He reminds me of Moses every time he speaks. Deep brother, yeah, it's like thunder. So that's a beautiful thing. So all right, brother, thank you for what you do, and I always love your style and how you do put together the radio show is very entertaining, and so I'm gonna definitely be listening and supporting the show.
All right, man, I appreciate it. It's really easy coming from because you're winning right now. I hope you have the same mentality and attitude when the tides change.
Well, I'm going to see how my ratings. Maybe next week I should do a show by myself. Maybe see, how many people listen to my voice. So,
your feelings gonna get hurt. I think what you're doing is working.
Okay.
And also, real quick too, I will be doing the Elder Ramar promo. For those who may have missed it last week, Elder Ramar has his thing. He comes on, he's real smooth with the music in the background. Yeah. And he calls it smooth criminal. So I'm trying to get with that too. I'm trying to be smooth criminal number 2. So,
yeah, he's that brother's doing good in the numbers. I think maybe that. He's doing very good with the numbers. He got that smooth voice, so maybe that's what's working for him.
Yeah, so if anybody out there don't know, on Friday nights, my show is tomorrow at 9 p.m. Elder Ramar show is Friday at 9 p.m. coming out of Babylon, and they bringing it. They bringing information, dealing with prophecies and end times and fleeing Babylon. So it's a real good show. I kind of hate to admit it, but it's it's a real good show. Yeah, anybody who got any questions, things like this, should definitely check it out. Yeah, definitely.
So thank you, brother, for supporting. I love you, and we'll talk soon.
All right, Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala. That's brother Rahai. So it was a very exciting night. I know, brother. I know, you have your stage name, but I know you also have a Hebrew name. So let's hear your Hebrew name, brother, Mr. Cameron.
Oh yeah, well I go by my middle name, which is Joseph, and so the Hebrew is YAWASAP.
YAWASAP, absolutely. So that's your name right now. YAWASAP is that's your real name. I look at these God-given these names, government slave names that was given by our slave masters. So we taking back our true heritage, our true identity, so that's thank you, brother YAWASAP. So coming to the show and experience, giving us your experience and your wisdom, and tell us once again, when are you planning to launch bring your documentary and branching off?
Most High willing, right now we're looking at right about March, hopefully March 1st launch date. So as we near it, I'll be letting you guys know if that's going to be pushed out or pushed up. But either way it goes, I'll keep you guys abreast of what's going on with it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, brother. for joining us. I hope this will not be the last interview and discussion you come in the show. And please keep us posted in what you're doing and the development of the documentary. I'm going to be, be in the front row when this thing is launched, because I know there's going to be some powerful stuff you're going to be dropping. So bless you once again. I want to thank also Elder Ricard for joining us, and also Brother Ahayah and behind the scenes screening the calls. He's always a reliable brother. And you're listening to the Gathering Christ Church Experience. Good night and God bless.
Shalom.
Shalom.